on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Lots to talk about today on the Braden Surprenant Show. We got Padres baseball. We got to dive into, as always, get you updated on all the camps and what's going on throughout spring training. We will also dive into Aztec basketball. We got what happened with UCLA last night with Mick Cronin. Oh, that was great. I watched that video about 100 times. We're going to talk about that at noon today. We're going to talk about some things in the National League, some big offseason changes for all teams in the NL, and we got a lot to get going to here on the show today. Frank, what's going on Wednesday? Fired up, ready to go?
Yeah, definitely, especially since I only woke up
Excuse me?
40 minutes ago.
40 minutes ago?
Yeah, see, what happened was I woke up so early yesterday.
Fell back asleep.
Well, no, yesterday I woke up so early that I turned my alarm off because I knew I was going to be in the shower by the time my alarm went off, so I didn't want to get my phone all wet, and I forgot to turn it back on.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
You got lucky because it's raining today.
Very lucky. I woke up in a straight panic.
At 9:45 today when I was working on stuff over here, I was like, I don't see Frank and it's raining.
Oh,
is he going to come up here just MFing everybody that drives again?
Well, I would have, but I was just happy to be here, having, way overslept.
All right, that's not how I thought that was going to go. We also are going to dive into a couple of things that happened yesterday near the conclusion of our show. Chucky Lozano, oh my God, his brother jumped in.
Finds no friend.
Top rope.
No friend and family.
Apparently, that's definitely not the case. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. I know Ben and Woods just talked about that near the end of their show. But we got a lot to get to today on the Braden Surprenant Show. We'll give you a college baseball update as well. But I want to start with San Diego State. And what happened yesterday with the Aztecs and what was another disappointing loss this season and what could be possibly one of the most disappointing seasons for the Aztecs in the Brian Dutcher, Steve Fisher era. I mean, incredibly disappointing. The level of play that they have had this year, incredibly disappointing for the situation that they have put themselves in. And last night was kind of the cusp of everything that you've seen this season in terms of the level of disappointment. I mean, here's my thing on San Diego State basketball. San Diego State basketball has accomplished a lot. I think they have done a really good job of turning the Aztecs basketball program to flagship sports program over at San Diego State. I think they've done a great job of making themselves a national power. I mean, getting yourself to the national championship for anybody is incredibly impressive. You want to talk about being in the Pac-12? You want to talk about competing with Gonzaga into the Pac-12? I'm going to tell you right now, if the Aztecs continue to do exactly what they did this season, I mean, they're just going to get lost in the Pac-12. And the Pac-12 is not even that much better than what it is right now in the Mountain West. I mean, you cannot go 1-6 against Grand Canyon all time. I don't care how good Grand Canyon is. I don't care how much money they pump into their program. I don't care if they're on the up and up. Grand Canyon, via the metrics, and what I watched last night, is not a team that should be coming in and beating San Diego State on its home floor. It's not. It's not even close. What happened last night by both teams? I mean, neither of those teams deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. I mean, I don't even know what type of level of basketball I was watching, but it wasn't very good. I mean, it wasn't even good to watch. I mean, I watch on a daily basis. I watch Big 12 basketball because that's where my alma mater plays. That is that's like watching the NBA versus high school right now with what was on display last night at Viejas Arena. Not a great loss for San Diego State. Not to say losses are good in general, but here's my thing on the Aztecs. The Aztecs at this point, if they want to be the big bad, we're the best program in the Mountain West, and we've, and be the flag bearer of the conference and be the flag bearer of the new conference, you know what schools like that don't do? They don't allow a school that just got entered into the conference, who, by the way, got entered because the Mountain West was sending a middle finger to everybody that was leaving the conference because they didn't want Grand Canyon in. They passed it almost overnight, got Grand Canyon to sneak into the conference. You know what big, bad teams that run conferences do? They beat that team's ass. They beat their ass. And it's not even close. Like Gonzaga. Gonzaga's in, the West Coast Conference added Seattle as part of this, moving things around because they knew that Gonzaga was going to leave. You know what Gonzaga does to Seattle? They destroy Seattle. It's a little bit different of a look. I mean, Seattle had a pretty good non-conference. They're not a very good basketball team, but if you want to be the big bad bully of the conference and be the flag bearer of the conference, you have to destroy schools like Grand Canyon and not lose at home by 10 and not miss dunks and not play sloppy and not. I don't even know what that performance was last night. It wasn't good. I can tell you that. And this is an Aztecs team that's not going to make the NCAA tournament. I'm just going to tell you that right now. They needed to win that game. They needed to worry about Utah State. They needed to be able to split between Boise State and New Mexico, and you're kind of piecing it together. What I saw last night, that is not a team that, one, deserves to be in the NCAA tournament, or two, is going to do any type of damage in the NCAA tournament. I want to know what happened. I mean, this is his team that we thought going into the season. I mean, we had with Miles Bird and Magoon Guath, right? They, maybe they won't make the NBA and they'll be able to come back. I mean, they thought they're going to the NBA. I mean, I might be missing something here. I don't see it. I mean, I know Magoon Guath has dealt with injuries, but he has been a massive disappointment for San Diego State. I mean, he's been very disappointing. I think Miles Bird, I mean, he shows flashes of being good. He shows flashes of, having being a presence player, but even him, I mean, it's just disappointing. I mean, I don't know how you let Grand Canyon come into Viejas Arena and just beat you up and bully you in the second half. I mean, the Aztecs got bullied in the second half. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, Reese Dixon Waters, absolutely just non-existent last night. San Diego show. I mean, the show has been non-existent for like 3 or 4 years. I mean, the Grand Canyon was even making fun of the student section for the Aztecs last night. I mean, that's where you're at. I mean, Grand Canyon came in, embarrassed you on your home floor, made fun of your student section, and left going, "Oh, we're 2-0." They think they're Pac-12. They think the school's Pac-12. What's that meme? You got that kid sitting on the bench. I thought they's SEC. I thought the Aztecs were Pac-12. I mean, you're losing to Grand Canyon. I tell you what, I know Grand Canyon's got, a good coach. I know they have a better program, all this other stuff. If you want to be the program that is the flag bearer of your conference, you cannot lose to Grand Canyon. Student section was better than yours when they were at Grand Canyon compared. I mean, I don't even know what San Diego State. I mean, the show is just like non-existent now. I mean, just absolutely non-existent. But I don't know what the Aztecs were doing last night. It's a tough loss. I mean, the Troy loss really killed you at the beginning part of the year. That loss is really going to hurt you. I mean, you're now into a situation where you have to win the Mountain West tournament, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I really don't. Not with the way Utah State is playing. Not with the way, I mean, San Diego State's not going to beat New Mexico on the road. If they do, I'd be shocked. They'll beat Boise because Boise's not very good. But what you saw last night between both teams, that's not NCAA tournament quality opponent. I mean, you look at like just the metrics. This is what you need to know about Grand Canyon. They're a quad 3 game. A quad 3 game. I mean, Grand Canyon going into Logan, Utah and beating Utah State, which does sound impressive, right? That's killing Utah State because it hands Utah State a quad 3 loss at home. That's exactly what this is. It's not like San Diego State lost a quad 1 game at home. It's a quad 3 game at home. Just utterly just terrible last night by the Aztecs. It's just not very good. Now, their season's not over. They have a couple of more opportunities to potentially climb their way out, but they have just made way too many costly mistakes, and I just overall, it's just been disappointing. And again, I mean, Magungwa's been disappointing, but he's at least the guy's been trying to play. I mean, he's got beat up all year. I mean, he's been hurt all season long. But now you got to win the Mountain West tournament, and that's kind of a crapshoot. You got to get hot in Vegas. And as anybody that knows that goes to Vegas, it's hard to just get on a heater in Vegas. Really disappointing game last night by San Diego State basketball. Just incredibly disappointing. In terms of their bubble, we'll talk about it when we come back. We got to look at the bubble. I mean, it's tough sledding for San Diego State right now when it comes to trying to get in as an at-large. That loss last night really cripples them into potentially making the NCAA tournament. We're going to talk about that when we come back. 11 o'clock hour, we're going to dive into Padres news. A lot of different stuff coming out of Peoria as per usual. Go through the roster, where everything stands. Sounds like they have announced an opening day. No, a spring training opening day starter. We'll talk about that as well in the 11 o'clock hour. Noon hour, dive more into college basketball. Mick Cronin last night, man. I mean, Aztecs fans, you think you got at least Dutch is cool. I mean, at least Dutch is super cool. And even kill. I have never seen Brian Dutcher never not have class. The guy is the definition of class. Mick Cronin last night, man, did he just set college basketball on fire. We'll talk about that at noon. We'll dive into the San Diego FC stuff. We got a lot to talk about. We'll take phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Off and running, Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's Urban Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. San Diego FC just took its first real international punch, but it survived. A 1-0 loss last Tuesday in Mexico City to Pumas Unam. But San Diego FC advances on a 4-2 aggregate score in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Wasn't pretty, wasn't dominant, but it might have been revealing. Big takeaway. Backup goalkeeper for this San Diego FC, who continues to dominate and do very well, Pablo Cisniega, Frank.
Yeah, he is absolutely incredible. 8 saves, faced 25 shots, 44 clearances forced by the defense. So, I mean, he did a fantastic job, and this game looked exactly as I had expected the game to look. Nearly 70% possession for Pumas in the second half. San Diego FC looked like a team that was, one, gasping for air with how high they were with the altitude, but also they were looking like a team that they were playing with a 3-goal lead.
We talked about this a lot on the show. Obviously, a lot of time has passed since the game, but the numbers, a little concerning. But I don't really feel it to be that concerning, just because of the fact that they had a huge lead in the aggregate. I mean, 25 shots to San Diego FC's 5, 9 shots on target to 3. I know Mikey Barra said they wanted to push, but at the same time, you didn't want to play your way into what could have been a counterattack.
Yeah, you didn't want to play your way into trouble. And sometimes the best way to do that is kind of like sitting in that limbo of just being balanced and parking the bus, which is what San Diego FC did. So, I mean, you could tell that they were trying, because if they weren't, the possession numbers would have been a lot more out of hand, and you would have seen a lot more players in trouble as far as energy and stamina were concerned than you did. So they definitely didn't play to their full potential, but they also were doing that for a very specific reason in this case.
Now the degree of difficulty rises. San Diego FC advances to face reigning Liga MX champion Toluca FC in the round of 16. First leg will be on March 11th in San Diego. Second leg in Toluca at 8,750 feet elevation. That's 1,250 feet higher than Mexico City, where San Diego FC had just won and looked like they were struggling with the altitude late. If San Diego FC conceded territory like that against Pumas, they can't do it again against the defending Mexican champs.
No, and they won't do it again, especially if the only way you could possibly see them doing that again is if they have another ridiculous aggregate lead when they go down to when they go and play Toluca at their place. So, I mean, it's going to be the first leg of this, which is, again, as you said, I believe is going to be on March 11th. That is going to determine how both teams play in leg 2. So if it's close, if it's tied, I would not expect San Diego FC to look anywhere the same as they did against Pumas in that second leg matchup.
They got their first MLS match coming up this weekend against Montreal here at Snapdragon Stadium. So take a little bit of break from the CONCACAF Champions Cup, but overall, what do you want to see them do as they get back to MLS play?
Just show that last year was not a fluke. And I believe they've done that already in their first 2 matches of the season in the Champions Cup. But playing in league is a very, very different thing. And going up against Montreal is going to be, they were one of the more down teams last year in the Eastern Conference. So I would expect San Diego FC to play well. Again, also your first opportunity to open up a season in front of your home crowd as well.
As for the off-field stuff, now this happened at the conclusion of our show on Tuesday. Full article about Chucky Lozano and the transfer update on where he is at with San Diego FC, and quoted his brother. Now the entire article was in Spanish, so we had to translate some of it, but the future of Chucky Lozano is very uncertain. He is not part of San Diego FC's plans for 2026, despite still being under contract. Because of this, his brother, Brian Lozano, warns that due to the behavior he has shown at the MLS club, no one or very few would risk signing him. That is from his own brother. Quote, he had his problems at Napoli with Gattuso and his coaching staff. At PSV, he also had issues at one point. He's rude and arrogant, and that doesn't lead anywhere. And that has influenced the fact that many people don't want him. That's his brother, Brian Lozano, telling ESPN, who recently returned after playing a year with Virtus FC in the Brazilian League. Even though he earns a lot in San Diego, I feel that's just an excuse because it's not convenient to have someone like that, knowing how important it is to have a healthy locker room. So no one or very few would risk signing him because at the end of the day, they run the risk of something similar happening to what has happened before, said Brian Lozano, a former Pachuca and Pumas player who is the brother of Chucky Lozano. That is very damning from Chucky Lozano's own brother.
Yeah, that's blood talking. That's not an anonymous source. That's family. And it's not just family.
Yeah, I can't stop watching it. I'm dying laughing at it. I have watched the Mick Cronin clip over 100 times, and every time it gets me. Every single time. I can't stop laughing at it. And then on top of that, somebody put together all of the best clips of Mick Cronin at a press conference and put it to one shining moment. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds long. I'm just dying. I'm going to have to play that at noon. All right, at noon, dude. You're going to have to. It is just the funniest thing ever. Mick Cronin, for people in the media, is the gift that keeps on giving. Aside from the people that that just ask the dumb questions and feel insulted when Mick tells them that they're dumb and they're dumb questions, and then they get all upset about it and they get all sad. Mick Cronin yelled at me. Aside from those media people, he's the gift that keeps on giving. He is classic. Did you raise your voice at me? That's gotta be a drop. Did you raise your voice at me? He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. During the break, it's now all over. This is what I get, okay? With the Twitter algorithm and all that stuff, this is what I get. I am now just loaded with Mick Cronin quotes. And I was in a deep dive last night with the Mick Cronin stuff because I thought that story was incredible. Well, they're talking about it at noon. I just can't stop laughing. Let's go back to the Aztecs and San Diego State basketball. It just was not great. It just was not great yesterday. We'll talk about the bubble here in a second. At least Grand Canyon. Well, you know what? At least Grand Canyon's played their way higher into the thing. Instead of being a quad 3 loss, it's not only a quad 2 loss. So I guess that's more beneficial for the Aztecs than anything else in the net rankings. But still, if you want to be what the Aztecs say they are sometimes when it comes to men's basketball, you can't let Grand Canyon come in and just bully you in the second half in your own building. You just can't do it. You can't do it. We're going to talk about the bubble here in a second. Let's get to the phone calls. Kevin in Chula Vista wants to weigh in. If you want to weigh in today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Kevin in Chula Vista, I'm sure you're not happy with the way the Aztecs played last night.
Well, the best way I describe this team is bipolar. And, you just don't know what personality you're going to get from this squad from game to game. And so when I'm doing the math, I agree with Mark Ziegler, and I did the math last night, same math as Mark. They've got to sweep their last 3 games, and then they've got to go no less than deep into the tournament at the Mountain West to get a shot if it's an at-large, and for certain it'd be in their best interest, obviously, to win the damn tournament and remove all of the uncertainty. But this team should be at 20 wins by now, and they're not. They're at 18. And we know the reasons why and what happened in the past. But what the problem I see with this squad is you don't have a great shooting team to begin with. They don't predicate their offense to then compensate for when this team goes cold. Essentially, the Aztec offense, Braden, is, and you see it all the time, we'd all see it. They run around in circles in the perimeter outside of the 3 for the most part. They try to set screens back and forth with some of the bigs, and then they look for the open, see if they can get a guy that's open. But that's, again, it's basically hit and miss basketball. And if they're hitting, they're going to be okay. If they miss, they have no other alternatives strategically that I can see. And you correct me if I'm wrong, or Frank, you do too. But I don't see any other alternatives that they have, which explains, I think, some of the lack of production coming from Magoon Guath. I mean, clearly, when he comes in the game, he's pretty much a non-factor at this point. He gives you some defensive help, obviously, but from an offensive standpoint, I don't know where this guy fits in at this point, because he's missed so much, and it just kind of throws everything off. So, there's just a lot of disappointments, not only from the players, too many playground guys here, but strategically, from a coaching standpoint, this has been the Dutcher Fisher philosophy for a long time. They don't like the structure. They refuse to do that. Well, that's great if you've got super shooters, guys that you can depend on game after game. But you don't on this team. You can look at Miles Bird as the poster child for lack of consistency. For all the hype that this guy got, he has not carried this team at all, not a lick. And you go right down the list of the ups and downs with this squad. So that's the way I see it. It's a disappointment. And one last thing on the show. They have become irrelevant. One of the reasons is when you look at the major teams that are out there in D1, they put their student sections in places where you can see them and hear them, which is on the other side of the court. They're in front of the TV cameras. They're sitting where all the Gucci blue hairs are sitting at this point. San Diego State needs to rethink what they do with their students, because basically when you stick them in the corner in the dark, you can't hear them and you can't see them to begin with. So that's a strategic problem just from an athletic department standpoint. I would highly recommend to the entire AD out there, you need to rethink this, because you've got to get these kids back involved in your game and make it look like the bigger institutions that are out there, and do this. Sit your blue hair some other damn place. I don't care how much money they give. The most important environmental factor you have going for you is an engaged student section, and they are not engaged and haven't been for quite some time.
That's right, Kevin. I mean, I just, the show's been actually really disappointing for like almost a decade now. In terms of moving them, I don't, that's always up to the college. I mean, there's certain schools that, put their student section in the baseline. There's certain colleges that put their student section right behind, the benches. I mean, there's a lot of different places you can put it. I don't think it's the location. I mean, I looked over there the other day. They're not really doing anything. It's just not what it used to be. I remember when I was a kid, before I got to college, before you got to high school, it was a ruckus bunch. And now you just don't see that anymore over there. I don't know. Now, in terms of like the overall deal, I mean, to me, like, I think a lot of it has to do with recruiting. And I think it's a lot of like what San Diego State can get with what they have. I mean, you can say what you want, but like San Diego State's never going to get the big guy that's heavy in the paint, that's physical. I mean, why? Because that guy's going to get a ton of money to go to a big school. I mean, they physically just can't get those players. You know, they get a guy like Magoon Guath who could shoot on the outside, but he's light. I mean, he's 7 feet tall, but he is going to get battled in the paint. He's not big enough to hang in the paint. I mean, but those are the type of players that San Diego State has gotten for years because that's who they can get. You got like schools like UCLA, and they're not even doing that well, but you got Arizona. Look at Arizona's players. Arizona's a Power 4 school, right? On the West Coast, Gonzaga. These schools have big dudes, and they can afford to bring in huge athletes. San Diego State doesn't have those guys. They've never had those guys. They had Jaden LeDee. Jaden LeDee was a stud. Jaden LeDee could do a lot of different things. Jaden LeDee was big. I mean, when they have at least one big athletic player, they do really well. And Kawhi Leonard, Jaden LeDee. I mean, these are a couple of players that the Aztecs have had that have been able to take over. I mean, but the other thing too is the Aztec teams that make runs usually have a couple of big guys, but also they usually have a guy that can take over the game scoring wise. You don't really have that. I mean, I think they were helping Reese Dixon Water was going to be that guy. He's just not that guy. Miles Bird plays great defense. Miles Bird hustles. Miles Bird does a lot of good things. Miles Bird can't take over a game offensively. He just can't. Magoon Guath can't take over a game offensively. He just can't. I think they're hoping LZ Harrington could probably do that in the future. As a freshman, he can't do it. And right now, like BJ Davis has been like one of their better guys, and he was coming off the bench for most of the time. I mean, they don't have really that dynamic player that takes over the game that Aztec teams have had in years past. And again, I think, I mean, you could say what you want about the way that this team like runs their offense and stuff. I think that's the way that they get players. I really do. I just think it's a way for them to get athletic players to go to their school. I think a lot of it has to do with recruiting. I think a lot of it has to do with the resources they have. I mean, I think San Diego State is trying the best they can with what they have. I think the coaching staff is, and to be honest with you, I think the admin is. I mean, you can't, we say this in baseball all the time with the salary cap. You can't spend money you don't have. I think you're starting to see that with a lot of colleges. I mean, we saw Alabama had their dollars go out. I mean, they had their finances go out in the public. They ended up pocketing $33 million, which gets funneled back into supporting a lot of these programs because they knew they were going to profit this year and lose next year because of the new college, whatever. I mean, there's new rules every single year, but it's kind of an anomaly that they ended up making money. But if you look at their schools, the school list of like what programs they have and how much money they made or lost, aside from 2 programs, they were losing money. These colleges lose money. I talked with Jake in the chat about this, and I kept asking the question. I mean, because he was pointing out that like, well, they all make money and they're all making all this money, and well, who's getting all the money then? That's my question every single time when people go like, well, the athletes are getting paid fair and the schools. Who at the school is making all the board members? Who's making all the money? Who's walking around with hundreds of millions of dollars in their pocket because their athletic programs made all this money? I mean, go look through these programs. There's like probably 4 or 5 in the country that actually profit at the end of the year. But you look at what Alabama posted. I think it's a good time to bring this up because I had it the other day. Alabama had their sport by sport profit and losses for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Football made a $64 million profit. Basketball made a $9 million profit. Every other sport was in the red by millions of dollars. Women's basketball cost Alabama a $4.6 million loss. I'm telling you, like, these are power schools that have gigantic alumni bases, that have T-shirt fans where the entire state roots for their team. They're in the red. they're doing what they can with what they have. I mean, I really can't criticize Brian Dutcher and the staff for like this. These are the guys that they can get. You would hope that they'd play a lot better because coming into the season, they were expected to do a lot of great things. And I think it's been very disappointing for the Aztecs. I mean, incredibly disappointing. But until they establish rules in college athletics for NIL, San Diego State is not going to be that team. Brian Dutcher said it in an article with Mark Ziegler a couple of weeks ago. Their budget is good for like where they're at, but they're never going to be able to compete with some of the teams at the top level. The disappointing thing, though, is they should be able to compete with the Mountain West schools, and they shouldn't be losing those games. And that's what's frustrating to watch, is they have talented players enough to do the damage that they should be doing right now in conference, and they do have enough revenue and money to have the players to do damage in the Pac-12. And they're not at that level yet. And that's what the frustrating part of this is, because you had the conversations in the offseason, Magoon Guath potentially going to the NBA and Miles Bird potentially coming to the NBA. And then they come back and you had Reese Dixon Waters, who missed all of last year, come back to play. And you are in a situation now where you got to win the Mountain West tournament to make the NCAA tournament. I'm sorry, that's disappointing. You can't change the narrative of that any other way other than it's disappointing. It really is. I mean, some of the scheme and all that stuff, I mean, you could criticize that maybe in basketball. I don't feel like it's really going to make that big of a difference. You got to be able to play with the guys that you have. And the guys that you have are good enough to beat Grand Canyon, and that's the frustrating part. The bubble is a mess. San Diego State's bubble is in a complete mess. And when we come back, we'll quickly look at that. At 11 o'clock, again, we're going to dive into all Padres baseball. Tony Clark stepping down as head of the MLBPA. What a story that is. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, too, as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. College football realignment never sleeps. Never sleeps. This week, the headline isn't from the SEC or the Big Ten. It's from the MAC. Sacramento State is officially moving up from the FCS to the FBS and will join the Mid-American Conference as a football-only member starting in 2026. Let's talk about what this really means. The numbers. Isn't a casual upgrade. $18 million conference entry fee, $5 million to the NCAA to move up, roughly $23 million total investment. That's serious money for a former FCS program. Sacramento State becomes the first West Coast program in decades to make the jump to the FBS, and they'll replace Northern Illinois, which is leaving for the Mountain West Conference. Here's the catch. They're not going to be eligible for the postseason for 2 years. They can't compete for the MAC title for 2 years. They're transitioning during one of the most chaotic eras of college football history. That's a high-risk move, Frank.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think that's even more money than what was projected, because we know, what was it? North Dakota State had to pay, $18 million between joining the conference and between joining the Mountain West and the NCAA. We were expecting this to be about $20 million for Sac State. It's actually going to be 23. So that's a lot of money. And also, I mean, for Sacramento State, I mean, hey, listen, if you think you can do it, go for it. That's exactly what they're going for. They're exactly what they're doing right now. And I think you're going to see there are going to be a couple teams. It may not be any more this year, but especially with the big money television contracts coming up, there might be some more schools that try to roll the dice and get out of FBS and go into Division I.
Yeah, get out of the FCS and join the FBS. The bigger trend, though, is this isn't happening in a vacuum. This is just last week, North Dakota State finalized the move to the Mountain West for $12.5 million. SMU famously gave up 9 years of TV revenue to join the ACC. Cal and Stanford accepted reduced payouts to stay in a power conference. Schools are literally paying tens of millions of dollars for a seat at the FBS table, and even more so, a Power 4 spot, which we're not even talking about in this particular sense. Why? Because if you're not moving up, you're falling behind. If you're falling behind, you become almost extinct. And that's a big mover for a lot of schools. And, one that I was surprised that San Diego State didn't try to pursue when it comes to trying to join leagues like the Big 12, like some of these other conferences that are part of the Power 4, but not necessarily part of the Power 2.
Yeah, and I think you're also going to see like the more teams thinking. I'm thinking South Dakota State. I'm thinking Montana State. I mean, those are schools that I could see possibly making this jump within the next couple of years. So, it's a big risk. It's a big risk to take for those schools and what they're giving up. I believe they're giving up a little bit less as far as ineligibility and conference ineligibility than North Dakota State is. But I mean, if they think they can do it, I'd love to see Sacramento on Tuesday night with a little bit of action going on.
Why did the MAC say yes? Well, the MAC isn't expanding for competitive dominance, about survival and obviously inventory. The conference stays at 13 teams after Northern Illinois leaves, and Sacramento State gives them a top 20 TV market in Sacramento, West Coast exposure, growing athletic department willing to spend. In today's NIL and transfer portal era, Group of 5 conferences are struggling to hold talent. They need more media relevance. They need more recruiting reach, more financial stability. Sacramento State is betting that being in FBS gives them access to these tools.
Another interesting little caveat that I don't know how much these conferences are thinking about this, but the more and more teams get used on the NCAA football games is the more and more money that they do get from that.
They do get it from the game.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know how significant that is.
Oh, exactly. I don't know
nice.
how significant. It is extra money though, especially in a time where money is ruling everything in college athletics right now. Every little bit helps. So that's going to be, I'm sure, I know next year for NCAA 27, I already know I'm taking Sacramento State. I wasn't going to take North Dakota State because I'm sick and tired of playing games in the Mountain West, but that might also be a little bit of a driving factor for these schools.
Well, didn't Delaware put out an incentive to get people to play with their school in dynasty mode or whatever it may be? Now, the question is for Sacramento State, can they compete? On the field, this isn't a bottom feeder program. Sacramento State won an FCS playoff games in both 2022 and 2023. They've shown that they can build competitive teams, but the concern is they're on their 4th head coach since 2022. They just hired former in the Bill House Studios. We know how. Take a look at the bubble for the Aztecs. I mean, we got Padres notes out there. I mean, we didn't really dive too deeply into a lot of the stuff. We kind of touched on a lot of different topics. We're going to get to that. And by the way, how about we had interesting how this works, Frank? You remember what Tim at Miramar asked the other day?
Yes.
What did he ask?
Who's the backup shortstop?
Who's the backup shortstop for the Padres? Which, honestly, to me at this point in time, when you haven't even played a spring training game, does it really matter? But okay. Craig Stammen was asked today who the backup shortstop is. We're going to talk about that at 11. We're going to get to everything that you need to hear from Craig Stammen, our daily look at what's going on in camp. And there's a couple of things that Craig Stammen talked about that we're going to get to. We got a starter for Friday. Is it the opening day starter? No.
Spring training opening day?
It's the spring training opening day. We got that starter. We'll let Craig Stammen announce that coming up in just a little bit. He does talk about a 5-man versus 6-man rotation. You know what? Right, but too early to have that conversation. We had that conversation before they added a bunch of pitchers. Now it's they got to see the pros and cons. I'm curious to see what Craig Stammen has to say. Backup short. I mean, it's like they've been listening to our show. It's great. You know what? Is Sammy just out there asking all the questions from our show? Is that what he's doing?
That'd be cool.
That'd be sweet.
They'd ask him tomorrow. He'll be on the show tomorrow.
Get our multiple week update from Peoria. All right. For everybody that wants to know where the Aztecs are bubble-wise, they are hosed. I mean, they are not in a good spot. They are SOL. They are. It's not great, Bob. It's not great. Selection Sunday is about 4 weeks away, and right now the Aztecs are living exactly where they usually do at this time, on the bubble. Aztecs just won their 3rd straight, beat Nevada before they got that snapped by losing to Grand Canyon. They were ranked 45th in the net. We're now 40, or they're in the resume rankings. They're 44 in the net, 51 in the RPI. Their ELO is a 45. Ken Palm's got them right around there as well. They, around most of the brackets, they are a 65% consensus chance to receive an at-large bid, but they're firmly in the work-to-do tier. That was before the notes from last night. They're not safely in. They're not really on the outside looking in yet. They're kind of right in the middle of chaos. The good news for the Aztecs, Mountain West is still tracking towards 3 bids, which had been the norm the past 5 seasons. Utah State seems to be a lock. San Diego State currently has a noticeable cushion over New Mexico as an at-large, and the head-to-head win over New Mexico on January 17th was huge. That mattered, and it will matter again when they play on February 28th. The Aztecs don't have a flashy resume, but they do have what a committee respects. Solid net profile, yes. Top 45 in the net at number 44. They have some pretty decent competitive predictive metrics, and they lost their momentum a little bit. Historically, the committee does give the Mountain West some respect, especially San Diego State. If you are a team in the Mountain West Conference that is a bubble team, you better hope that your name is San Diego State. You better hope that your name is San Diego State. Problem isn't that San Diego State is bad. The problem is they're not clearly better than the other bubble teams. Across the country, the SEC might get 9 or 10 teams. Big 10 could get 10. ACC could get 8. Big 12 already has 6 absolute locks. When power conferences soak up bids, that squeezes leagues like the Mountain West out. If the Mountain West drops from 3 bids to 2, that's where things get dangerous. Here's some teams that you got to worry about. Texas just surged into a should-be-in category. Georgia has fallen hard. UCF is sliding. St. Mary's not quite safe. Santa Clara is lurking. New Mexico is hovering. And VCU has won 9 straight, but still not into a comfortable position. Committee favors power conference teams. Doesn't help the Aztecs. Teams with big quad 1 wins. San Diego State just has 1 quad 1 win and strong predictive metrics. We'll see if the Aztecs have that. Their next biggest game, of course, besides playing Utah State at home, is having to play at New Mexico. They win that game, might change things. I just don't think they're going to beat New Mexico at the Pit. I really don't. They got to play better. And if they want to be considered a big guy, as Sam Fleming in the chat says, picking on the little guy, you know what? You want to act like the big guy? This is what acting like the big guy's like. Not being okay with losing to Grand Canyon. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Let's get to some of the stuff that Craig Stammen talked about. And then in the 11 o'clock hour, Griffin Canning met with the media for the first time. I do want to talk about that as well. Frank, let's get to, I want to get to the bit about the 5-man versus 6-man rotation and hear what Craig Stammen's thoughts are. So we're going to let Frank put that together real quick. And I think it's an interesting conversation. I think that conversation changes a little bit with the amount of pitchers that they have brought in. But again, there's pros and cons to all of these things. I mean, the cons of the 5-man rotation, your guys are pitching more times, more often. And that is from a sense of, well, are you trying to limit the ability, or should I say limit the usage of guys like Michael King or guys like Joe Musgrove? If that's the case, you don't really want the 5-man. 6-man rotation, well, if it doesn't work out and your pitchers don't do very well, then all of a sudden you got to worry about fatigue to the bullpen and burning your bullpen out too early. There's pros for both, but here's what Craig Stammen had to say about it, because I think the question is now even more interesting than when we talked about it, because they have added Walker Buehler, because they've added Herman Marquez, because they had guys already slated to be in the rotation. Here's Craig Stammen from earlier today talking about the pros and cons of a 5-man versus 6-man rotation.
Have you thought at all, like you've Joe and Michael coming off injuries last season, different degrees, have you thought at all about the pros and cons of 5-man rotation versus 6-man rotation, or is that to be determined down the line?
Yeah, I think a lot of things that we talk about internally are like that. Even when we go back to the offseason, we're talking about some of the relievers being starters. Just things that we talk about and evaluate, see if the pros and cons of it, and then make a decision. So we haven't made that decision yet. We'll see how spring training goes. We'll see how they handle all the live BPs and the simulated games and the backfield games and the actual games in the stadium, and then, see how they're recovering, if they can do it every 5 days or if they need that extra day. we'll kind of map it out with off days and all that as best we can.
Fair to say both are possible.
Yeah, everything's on the table. We want to do what's best for them and what's best for the team, and how we marry those two things is yet to be determined.
Even with you guys have adequate off days in the early, like at least a day off every week. You still might consider the 6-man?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we'll see how these guys bounce back. That's the number one thing is, are they capable of being their best when we put them on the mound? Whatever that scenario looks like, that's what we're going to do.
I think this is going to be interesting the way it plays out, because I think it determines how you make your roster, obviously. And I think it's the difference between guys like Walker Buehler making the team as opposed to maybe a long relief guy. I mean, because here's the deal. Like if Walker Buehler, Armand Marquez, and Randy Vasquez all pitch well, and you want to keep them all part of the organization, are you going to cut one of those players so you can keep a long reliever on? I don't necessarily know if you would do that if they all played well, right? Like that's what you're looking for. And when I mean pitch well, like they could get 6 innings. You can give them 6. You could give the team 6 innings. So when it starts coming down to, are you going to, like, I'll use this as an example, because as of right now, I think Kyle Hart is in line to be a long relief guy out of the bullpen. I really do. He's on the 40-man roster. They gave him $1 million. They re-signed him to be part of this organization. And in order to get Walker Buehler, right? I mean, they still have to make a move for Griffin Canning, too. I mean, Griffin Canning might start on the injured list. I mean, we're going to hear from Griffin Canning in the 11 o'clock hour. But if it comes down to it, it's not like you can move one of those guys to the bullpen. Like Walker Buehler said, I'm a starter. I'm here to start. You brought Armand Marquez in here to start. And Randy Vasquez is a starter. You're not going to move him back to the bullpen when you have made this much progress of him being a starter. So if it comes down to it and all 3 of those guys play well, wouldn't it be beneficial for you as a team to try to keep those guys on the major league roster? I'm just asking questions here. But if it comes down to it, you have to cut one of these 4 players. Armand Marquez, Randy Vasquez, Walker Buehler, Kyle Hart. One of those guys doesn't make the team. Who is it going to be if they all pitch well? I mean, that's kind of where you're at right now. I think you get more benefit out of keeping starters than you do keeping long relief guys, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of where you would go with that. And I think if all those guys make the team, it's guaranteed you're at a 6-man rotation. You're asking them to eat as many innings as possible, trying not to rely on the bullpen as much. I think as far as major league history, I would say most likely Kyle Hart would be the odd man out in that case if everyone performs well. We've seen it over the course of so many years here now that starting pitching is so valuable, and you need a ton of arms going back, especially just to the last couple of seasons here, that you would want to keep as many starters as you possibly can. And I'm starting with a 6-man rotation, even though that's something that I wouldn't personally do, might be the best course of action to keep as many starting arms as you possibly can.
Especially when you have a couple of guys at the top of that rotation that are coming off of injury, right? Then you want to limit the amount of innings that they throw and the amount of pitches that they throw. I think everybody in the chat would immediately go like, oh, you got to get rid of Hart. Well, if you decide not to keep Hart on the team, which, by the way, he has options. You could send him down to AAA. Mm-hmm. Who goes to the bullpen? That's the question now, right? Like, who goes to the bullpen if you don't want to do a 6-man rotation? Somebody's got to go to the bullpen, but you can't. I mean, you're not going to do that with a guy like Randy Vasquez, who worked so hard to get to this point right now, who's in line to be the 4th starter. You're not moving one of these veteran guys to the bullpen. So that's the question of the difference between a 5-man versus 6-man rotation. You know, instead of maybe keeping some of these guys, and maybe you got to make some cuts in the bullpen too. I mean, we didn't talk about the bullpen at all. I mean, Bradley Rodriguez has a lot of great stuff, but the thing is, because people are like, oh, they're going to trade Yuki Matsui. Like, I don't necessarily know that's possible. I mean, possible. It is possible, but I don't necessarily know that's an option when you have, again, there's sometimes between the lines, there's the game within the game. Like Bradley Rodriguez, let's use him as an example, right? he's on the 40-man rotate. He's on the 40-man roster, which is a huge step for him to be on the major league club. But if it's going to come down to Yuki Matsui getting released and having to pay him to go elsewhere or work a trade, or Bradley Rodriguez, so you could just send out a AAA, I don't care how. I mean, that's how much better Bradley Rodriguez has to pitch. He has to pitch so much better that you have to cut somebody and eat payroll to put him on the roster. And a lot of teams don't necessarily want to do that.
No, but especially with guys who are getting paid as much as Wandy Peralta and Yuki Matsui are.
Right.
You're going to have to really wow somebody in order to have them come off. And Wandy Peralta, again, did not pitch badly last year. He had the one game in New York where they forced him to eat it. And other than that, I mean, he was fantastic. You didn't see much of Yuki Matsui down the stretch. This is also assuming, by the way, that Jason Adam is going to be ready for spring for opening day, which he says he's going to be. He wants to be. He's working towards it. But that's also assuming that Jason Adam is going to be ready for opening day.
Which I don't think he will be. I think because it's going to come down to him fielding his position, running like a sprint to first on any type of PFP play. He hasn't been able to do that yet from the reports that we're getting. Pitching is fine. Jason Adams pitching, it looks fine. And it sounds like he feels fine pitching, but pitching's not the problem. Like being able to crash and cover on a bunt, being able to cover first base. I mean, I know he's not batting or running the bases, which you would think you would, but he still has to sprint around the infield to do his job when the ball is in play. And until he's able to do that, he's going to be probably on the injury list. And I think Griffin Canning's probably in the same spot. I mean, he's been throwing. Like Griffin Canning threw a bullpen not too long ago at UCLA for a bunch of teams. That's when the Padres saw him and then signed him. But for Griffin Canning to be ready, it's the same thing on the Achilles. Can he sprint? Can he change directions? Can he come up and field his position? Those are the things that need to be in play. But those are two other guys, right? So I would imagine they both start on the injured list just because, I mean, just to try to make the roster happen. And again, there's pros and cons for a 5-man and a 6-man rotation, right? Mm-hmm. The con of the 6-man rotation is 100% true. It's like you have one less bullpen arm. But if you have one less bullpen arm, the idea of the 6-man rotation is you don't have to use as many bullpen arms because you are using more starting pitching. And you're getting deeper into games because guys are having an extra day rest. Like either situation, if your starters don't go deep into games, you're screwed anyway, right? So you can't use that as an argument of why it doesn't work. Well, if the argument against the 6-man rotation is you don't have as many bullpen arms to save pitchers when they don't go deep in the innings, I got news for you. That's the same case with a 5-man rotation, Frank. I've seen it with the Padres where the 5-man rotation has starters not going deep into games and the bullpen still burns itself out with the extra arm that they have. The key here, you got to have starters go deeper into baseball games. And to me, whatever puts the Padres in a position to do that and have these guys as fresh as possible near the end of the season, that's going to be the play that they decide to do. And I also think how Walker Buehler and Griffin Canning and Armand Marquez and some of the guys that Randy Vasquez that are competing for a starting spot, which I think Griffin Canning's going to get one when he comes back, but how they do in spring training, I also think dictates what they're going to do 5 or 6-man rotation wise. And the thing is, a lot of people that just say, oh, it's easy, just saying, not a lot of these guys can get sent down to AAA. And that's where you get into the problem of you either use them or lose them.
Yeah, exactly. You've signed a bunch of good major league talent. Now the problem is you have to find a place to be able to keep all of said major league talent, and that's by keeping them in the major leagues, which means you're going to have to make tough decisions. They're good decisions to have to make just based on the quality that you have. But I mean, we have to wait and see because there's a lot of things that can and most likely will happen over the next month.
When we come back, we got more sound from Craig Stammen as we get our daily hit from Craig as he talks with the media. A couple other things he has answered for the Padres. We'll get to that next on the Braden Surprenant Show, setting his number sports station, 97 to the Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We have tons of content on our YouTube page. We just uploaded a bunch of it last night that we those of you that are watching on YouTube are able to see during the commercial breaks. If you want to watch the full videos, because a lot of them a little bit longer than our commercial breaks, be sure to go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/@B_SURP. Hit subscribe. You can find it a lot easier that way. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on the Braden Surprenant Show page. We're up, I think, over 760 at this point in time. So that's great news. Thanks again for doing that. We got lots of extra content that we don't have time to talk about on the show. San Diego goals split with Bakersfield over the weekend. We talked about that in a video. We've talked about the Chucky Lozano situation. We have San Diego FC updates. We have updates on every D1 school here in town for all of their sports: baseball, softball, basketball, women's basketball as well right now. I mean, those are all in those reports. We got tons of extra Padres baseball content up there as well. Pro sports, the NBA, NHL. I mean, whatever is happening that somewhat impacts San Diego, Frank and I are talking about it. We have it in, very bite-sized pieces, not very long, quick little hitters on the trending topics around sports. Again, all of that content, extra content. If you want to hear from us more, the Braden Surprenant Show on YouTube, youtube.com/@B_SURP. If you're watching on 97 through the fans page, again, you could go to the main page. First of all, subscribe to that, to our page on 97 through the fan if you haven't done so already. And then it says our shows, easy to subscribe. You can subscribe to Ben and Woods. They're close to 9,000 subscribers right now on their YouTube page. Gwyn and Chris, trying to bump those numbers up a little bit. You can subscribe to them as well. Sam Levitt's on there. Matt Scraby, you can subscribe to his page. Also, they're all listed right on the homepage at youtube.com/@973 The Fan. We appreciate that. It makes it a lot easier for you guys to find our content. And we post a lot of extra stuff on there. I mean, all of these quotes and stuff that we are playing on the radio from Craig Stammen, from the players, Sam is putting up on the YouTube page at 97 through the fan, at 97.3 The Fan. Go to 97 through the fan on YouTube. YouTube.com, same thing, /@973 The Fan. If you go on there, it has the full 4-minute interview with Griffin Canning. It's got the full Craig Stammen daily media sessions. I mean, the whole 100%. I mean, we only play some of the clips. There's a lot more that Craig Stammen is talking about. You can only get that with us, or you can only see the full versions of that with us at 97.3 The Fan on YouTube. I mean, it's an easy place to find it. So we have that all posted up there. If you haven't subscribed to our account yet, if you're a Padres fan, do it. We're going to do more content throughout the year. And again, at @B_SURP on YouTube, as well as 97.3 The Fan. Lots to get to today on the show. We're going to talk more Padres baseball in a second, but did have a phone call, wants to talk about Aztec basketball a little bit. Let's get out to Tony in San Diego. Tony, what's going on, man?
How's it going? You guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Last night I went to the game. Well, first off, shout out to the chat room. This is SD Activist, first time calling in.
Appreciate the phone call, dude. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube chat as well.
Yeah, so basically, I went to the game last night. The team, the lack of cohesion on offense, working the ball around, no organization. What do? You look towards Dutch, and I think about Magoon Kwa, can't even hold on to the ball. Does he know that we're playing in late February? Does he know that we're playing in late February in basketball? He plays it so soft, And I think I really saw the Harrington. We need Harrington. That's the guy. He's the freshman. He's the only one on the team that shows a little bit of killer instinct or conviction. But it was good. The crowd was loud. And, we got to get up. The team's got to get up. And I think with the show, what happened to the I Believe chant? What happened to the home atmosphere where it's let's go, and SDSU, Aztecs, either way, they got to show conviction. And it's I remember the show never sitting down, but times have changed, generations changed, but we got to carry it on. The Aztecs for San Diego.
Yeah, Tony, you hit a lot of spots, man, and I appreciate you calling in for the first time. Thanks again. He says it right with the Aztecs just overall just have not been able to, play at that level of intensity that we were expecting them to play at. The show, they still do the "I believe" chant. They do it super early in the game. They have not been one of the better student sections in a long time. They just haven't, and they could get upset about it. But the reality is, they just haven't been fun, or rowdy, or what they used to be. It's just not what they used to be. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Let's get to some Padres baseball. Okay, let's get to some more of the clips from Craig Stammen today as he met with the media. Let's first of all get to the situation of who's starting on Friday. Everybody loves that. I'm curious if anybody went a little bit further. The joke every year was like the first day of pitchers and catchers asking the manager who's going to start opening day. Nobody asked that this year. Or maybe they did, and we just didn't post it. I always find it a little bit funny. But we do know who's starting Friday's game against Seattle, which you can hear right here on 97.3 The Fan. Here's what Craig Stammen had to say about who's starting the game on Friday. You know what this means, Frank? This means we're closer. We got closer to baseball, closer to actual baseball. Here's what Craig had to say.
Is TBD still going on Friday, or do you have a...
No, TBD got scratched, and we're going to go with Logan Gillespie in game 1 against Seattle. So he'll be our first spring training game starter.
Out of curiosity, I know he started a little last year, pitched some long relief. What could his role be?
Yeah, he's going to be jack of all trades. He could do anything. We're going to stretch him out just to give us some links and give us somebody that we can rely on that can do a bunch of different things. If we stretch him out and we decide to put him in the bullpen, he could be a bulk reliever. We could put him in the back end of the game. He's closed out AAA games before. He's helped us in the big leagues, pitch a lot of innings and save some of our big guys. So just somebody that can kind of do it all.
That's usually the case for the first game, right? You get a bullpen guy out there, start the game, see what he goes. I'd be curious to see who plays in this game for the Padres. Don't expect all the starters to be in there. Probably a handful. You'll see a couple of that. You'll see one at bat maybe per player, and then they're off. And game 1 will be in the books. But that means we're one step closer to baseball, huh? One step closer to baseball. The other thing, too, is some word on when Sungmoon Song will be ready for Cactus Play. Here's Craig Stammen on the latest update on Sungmoon Song.
Sungmun's been progressing really well. He's been doing a lot of stuff on the field, as you guys can probably see. He's going to take a day off hitting today in his normal progression of getting him ready. And then he'll get a couple of full day practices where he's, full go. We're not watching him. And then once we check those boxes, he'll be getting in a spring training game and we'll get a good look at him.
Any defensive positions you're thinking of for him?
Yeah, I think right now we've been working him out at second base and third base. I know he feels really comfortable in those two spots. We get him really comfortable, feeling good about where he's at right now, and then maybe we'll move him around after that. But for right now, second base, third base feels really good for him.
They were having him get some fly balls too, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm curious on the maybe get some outfield work as well. But Sungmoon Song, again, he came in, he got hurt during the off season right before he got to camp. So he's trying to get back on the mend and get back out there for the Padres. Last one for you, and this one's for Tim and Miramar. Who's the backup shortstop going to be for the Padres? We know that Xander's the starting shortstop, and they moved some guys around. Is it Jake Cronenworth? Tim and Miramar wasn't so sold on Jake Cronenworth, but they asked Craig Stammen who the backup shortstop would be in case of emergency or in case Xander Bogaerts gets hurt. Here's what Craig Stammen had to say.
Jake is definitely one of them. We kind of put him over there last season. I don't know what the decision making was. I wasn't part of that, but he came over and then he made some great plays in Colorado, if I remember right. And we're kind of like, all right, Jake can play shortstop. And he knew it all along. It's just, maybe us being stubborn and not putting him over there. But Jake will definitely be one of those guys. Song will be another guy that we maybe try at shortstop. We've got Mason McCoy. We got a few guys that can sneak over there and play shortstop. But as far as backup shortstop goes, I don't, we'll see how the roster shakes out and, who we put on the bench and what they can possibly do.
I really don't think Mason McCoy makes this team, Frank, and I don't think you can
No.
waste a roster spot on him being a backup shortstop.
No, I agree entirely.
The only way to me, like Mason McCoy gets up with the big league club or Will Wagner or some of those guys is in injuries. But like having Mason McCoy sit on your bench is a waste when he could be playing down in AAA and at least getting at bats. Now, here's the thing: if he rakes and he plays his way on the team, obviously he deserves to be on the team. But in the whole process of just like carrying a guy just for a backup shortstop, I'd rather just take my chances with Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's you already have a backup infielder. If you have a guy who's straight up your backup shortstop, that is a waste of a spot. You need a utility infielder, a guy who's going to be able to play in multiple spots, and that's already Sungwoo Sung. So you've doubled up on that spot. Now you're either going to carry 2 infielders or 2 outfielders, and typically that would be a 2 infielder spot. But if you're carrying Mason McCoy just to be a backup shortstop on the one day a week that Xander Bogaerts needs a day off, if that, then that is a waste of a spot.
We haven't heard from Griffin Canning yet, and we're going to get to that in a second because we got to take a break. Griffin Canning did meet with the media, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how what he said kind of led to some of the success he had last season before he ended up rupturing his Achilles. And it's something to do with where he played and why he had such a great start to the year. We'll talk about that. We'll hear from Griffin Canning for the first time when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. The 68th running of the Daytona 500 delivered exactly what the Great American Race promises: drama, chaos, and a finish nobody saw coming until the final 500 yards. Tyler Reddick won the Daytona 500, and he did it by leading exactly 1 lap. The only lap that mattered. On the final stretch, Reddick got a massive push from teammate Riley Herbst, powered past Chase Elliott, and drove his number 45 23XL Racing Toyota to a 0.308 second victory. Behind him, absolute mayhem. Frank, what could you take away from the Daytona 500? And in layman's terms, explain to us how Tyler Reddick was able to win the Daytona 500.
I hate fuel mileage racing at super speedways, but that's something that's a completely different topic for a completely different video. So, but we're talking about drafting and getting a push. So the car out in front of a group creates like a break in the air. And when you're behind, this is why you save fuel when you're behind an 18-wheeler, when you're tailgating behind an 18-wheeler, because it's punching such a big hole in the air. You don't have as much air resistance on your car, so it goes faster. Bump drafting is basically that. It's the car using that speed advantage to bump the car in front of it to help it go a little bit quicker. Tyler Reddick going into turn 3 used a slingshot move, basically took that run, took that momentum, got to the outside of Chase Elliott to go and grab that, to try to grab the lead, took second place from it. Then in turn 4, got to the inside and made the move to the inside, while his teammate Riley Herbst at 23:11 was able to get to the outside, and that caused just a big crash.
It was a race that had a record 25 different leaders, 65 lead changes, and a race that felt like it had 5 different endings in the final 2 laps. And for Tyler Reddick, I mean, the win carried extra weight. After going winless in 2025, there were questions. When you drive for 2311 owned by Danny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, expectations are championship level every single season. Reddick admitted the drought forced the team to look in the mirror this offseason, and Sunday was definitely validation.
Yeah, absolutely. He is a very, very good oval racer as well as road racing. He's a very, very competent driver. And for him to have a season like he had last year with a team and components that a team like 2311 has, that was a very, very big drought for him, and then able immediately to come back and take the win this week. Again, as you said, it's just major validation for him and everything the team was able to do over the course of the offseason.
And fittingly, it came in a race that nearly slipped away multiple times. At the white flag, it looked like Carson Hocevar might steal it until he spun in turn one. That handed the lead to Chase Elliott, who appeared poised to grab his first Daytona 500. But Elliott knew the run was coming. He chose not to throw a desperation double block on Reddick, like avoiding a wreck that could have wiped them both out. And Reddick capitalized. Earlier in the race, we saw the big one, a 20-car accident ignited when Justin Allgaier turned across the nose of Hamlin late in stage 2. That wreck reshuffled the entire field and showed once again that at Daytona, control is just an illusion.
Yeah, no, you cannot, on super speedway racing, you cannot under any circumstances predict how that race is going to go, because anything can happen. William Byron had to go to a backup car, started from the back of the field, was caught up in about 5 different wrecks, and was still going into turn 1 on the final lap, still had a chance to win until that wreck with Hocevar happened, forced him onto the apron, forced him back up the track, really slowed him down. But anything can happen at those super speedway races, which is part of the reason why Daytona draws so big as it does every single year.
Stage winner Zane Smith grabbed his first career stage win in stage 1. Bubba Wallace won stage 2 under caution after the massive pileup. But in the end, the race belonged to Tyler Reddick and to teamwork. Michael Jordan made it clear afterward Herbst's push was the difference. That kind of manufacturer and team loyalty wins super speedway races. Top 5, Reddick, Stenhouse Jr., Logano, Elliott, Keselowski. And just like that, the 2026 season begins with a statement. 2311 Racing is back in the win column in the biggest race of them all. Oh, and by the way, Tyler Reddick had his car on display here in San Diego. One of them painted like San Diego State with the Aztecs logo and everything like that before their win against Nevada. I'm just saying. What did the Snapdragon Panda outside of the arena standing next to the Tyler Reddick car, what did that Panda know that we didn't know coming into Sunday?
I don't know if that car is getting raced. I think that might have just been a promotional car either. I couldn't see anything that was saying that car is going to get raced, but it would be really, really cool to see that on track here. You also had
they should race that one here in San Diego.
Yeah,
that should be the one that they use.
Yeah, that would be absolutely incredible. Also this week at Daytona, Chandler Smith had a dramatic victory of his own on Friday night in the Truck Series, 4 wide down on the line.
We got the men's short track event on right now. That's a fun event to watch. I mean, the long track speed skating was also fun to watch. I mean, these guys move. But short track, one of my favorite winter Olympic events. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to hear from Griffin Canning here in a second. He met with the media today for the first time after signing with the San Diego Padres. And there's some news in the latest article from Kevin Acee about the rules as a Article 20 free agent we're going to talk about with the starting rotation impacts Walker Buehler and German Marquez. We're going to get to that in a second as well. But I do want to get back to your phone calls. We'll get out to Juan in Oceanside, part of the chat fam. Juan, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Braden? What's up, Frank? I'm actually calling to talk about the starting rotation for the Padres. I kind of have an inkling or a feeling that maybe Joe Musgrove might start out the season on the IL to some degree, which will probably allow Walker Buehler and German Marquez to just have an opportunity to pitch until he comes back. And then that'll also open up a spot for Griffin Canning. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the possibility of that happening and how secure do you think Randy Vasquez's spot is in this rotation, whether it's a 5 or 6 man?
I don't think Randy Vasquez's spot in the rotation is as secured as it was a couple of weeks ago. I definitely don't think that's the case. When it comes to Randy Vasquez, though, now here's the thing with Randy Vasquez. You have, even though he's out of options, you have years of control and he's cheap. So any type of inclination of him having success and long-term success for this team, you have to keep guys like Randy Vasquez on your team, Frank, because he's the guy that offsets costs for other areas on your team. You have to have players like Randy Vasquez that play above what their value is. And so unless he's atrocious in the spring and he's a lost cause, which I don't think is the case because I think he's getting better the more he pitches. And again, he's still a young pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep him part of the organization. And the only way to do that is to have him on the team. So from that perspective, I still think he is in a very secure spot, albeit it might not be as secure as it was a couple of weeks ago. He might have to compete for that spot, but there's a lot of intangibles that play into the decision to keep Randy Vasquez long-term.
Yeah, I can't see a scenario where Randy Vasquez is not on the opening day roster unless he gets hurt. That's really the only thing that I can see him not being on the opening day roster. Now, whether it's a number 4 starter or number 5 starter, that remains to be seen by how well he does over the course of this spring, whether he works out what he needs to work out. But I can't see a scenario in which he is not on the opening day roster unless he's hurt. And also the first point he brought up about Musgrove possibly starting on the IL, I haven't seen any inkling of that at all. And I don't see any reason why they would have him start on the IL.
Here's the thing is if, you could theoretically, because he's coming off of an injury.
Yes.
I see where Juan's point is on that. Like they could, the whole idea, right, with Joe would be, because like Yu Darvish last year started on the IL.
Yes.
The whole and the whole conversation we had last year about it was like, I don't care what Yu Darvish does in April, in May, in June. I care what he does in July, August, September, mostly August, September, October. And if Joe is already going to be in a position where he wants to stay fresh throughout the year and not get overworked, and he's willing to, I don't want to say take starts off because that sounds bad, but like, miss a spot in the rotation here and there to preserve his strength for the end of the season. And he said he was open to doing that. Why not just have him start his season later and let him come back and continue? Because he can still work on stuff, right? He can still do it with the team. And then by that, and here's what you do with that. You let Joe Musgrove start on the injured list. Now, again, this is all conversations they have inside. This is what Juan brought up, and it's not a bad idea. You let him start on the injured list. You let Walker Buehler and German Marquez start the season, and at some point, you're going to have to make a decision on: are we going to go to 6-man rotation? We had Griffin Canning, or are we going to stick with the 5-man rotation? Let's see how this plays out. It's almost like an extended tryout. And if they both do well and you add Griffin Canning back, there's one. And then if for any reason, it's not working out with Walker Buehler or it's not working out with German Marquez, then, when you activate Joe Musgrove, you just release one of those guys.
Yeah.
And you're fine. Again, this has a way of playing itself out. And players are going to get hurt during spring training. I know that's it sucks to say, but that's going to be the case. Somebody's going to get hurt. It always happens. It's sports. And it's going to fix itself on its own. It usually does. And we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But what Juan is saying is not a crazy thing that might happen.
No, well, we've seen it before. It's just, I can't see a way where a competitor like Joe Musgrove, who was trying to pitch last year during the postseason, would be willing to slow it down and start the year on the IL. I can't see him doing that.
Well, that would be the only way for him to miss starts, right? He said he was open to preserving his body for later in the year. The only way you do that is by missing starts, and the only way you miss starts is you go to the injured list. Like you can't just carry Joe Musgrove on the team and have him not pitch.
Yeah.
Right? It's a waste of a spot. So if they're going to do that with him or Michael King, the Dodgers do it all the time. How many times was Glasnow and Snell on the injured list last year?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go they might go on the injured list multiple times, and now you can just go, he's on, he's off, he's on, he's off. There's ways to do it. There's ways that teams are doing it. And I would, with two guys that are coming off of injury, and a guy like Griffin Canning, who is, and I could see them doing that. Joe already said he's willing to pace it out a little bit more. He doesn't necessarily want to be the guy that, he doesn't have to pitch 200 innings. It's an interesting suggestion. Again, these things have a way of playing themselves out. Let's talk about Griffin Canning for a second. We don't necessarily know where he's going to be at. It sounds like from the early inclinations, he might be ready to go in May. But Griffin Canning did for a little bit of time meet with the media at his locker in Peoria. Here's Griffin Canning being welcomed to the Padres with the media.
What appealed to you about the Padres? What brought you here?
Yeah, I think obviously the track record that they've had with some of the guys that have come through here. Obviously, just getting to know Ruben, and some of the other guys on the staff. Just felt like this was the best opportunity for me to come and get better and help a team any way I can.
The season that you were having last year before the unfortunate incident, what do you attribute that to, and what's that next step you can take with Ruben?
Yeah, I think part of it is just kind of being around some new voices, some new people that were super helpful. But honestly, I like pitching in New York. It was a lot of fun. I like kind of the expectations of being on a winning team, and I think we have that here too. But yeah, I think it was kind of just understanding myself a little bit better and who I am as a pitcher. So just continue to build that relationship with Ruben and learn from some of these other pitchers on the staff, and just keep improving.
How did that process play out in the last few weeks, settling on this team? I know you threw for some scouts. Like, how did it all kind of go about the last week or so?
I threw. Maybe it was last Thursday. I think one of the Padres had a guy come out there, and I think I ended up had a Zoom call with them the next day, and then ended up signing Friday night, and then drove out here Saturday and got the process going.
Where are you health-wise, and what are your expectations in terms of like when you might be able to pitch?
I feel great right now. I've been off the mound a handful of times, 4 or 5 times. I'm throwing a bullpen here tomorrow. I feel 100% when I'm on the mound and throwing and everything. Still have some boxes to check in terms of running and some agility things, but I think it's kind of a day by day, week by week thing. Just kind of see how I'm progressing and how I'm feeling, and go from there.
So it's a long season. Do you have to think about how it's a long season and how like you're going to at least miss some time and go? But that's okay because it's about finishing the season.
Yeah, no, I think they've been super helpful, and just in terms of not pushing me to rush back. Obviously I want to get back as soon as I can and help the team, but I want to play for a lot longer. So I got to look out for my health a little bit in that aspect, but yeah, I'm working hard, and I feel like I'm progressing really well. So hopefully I can get back out there soon.
You say it's day to day, week to week. I know, is there some sort of soft day you have in your head when you envision yourself pitching?
Not in particular. Like I said, I it's tough because when I'm on the mound, I feel like I'm pretty much at 100%. Like I can do everything I'm throwing on my pitches. Probably a little behind volume wise, so I still just gotta build up in that aspect. But you're gonna start getting into a lot more of the running and agility things, and just kind of see how that progresses.
What are your early initial impressions of him?
Yeah, he's awesome. I think he's honest, just down to earth guy, and I think, like I said, just kind of the track record of the guys that have come through here. Last year I was with Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea had awesome things to say about being in San Diego. But I'm from Orange County, so I know San Diego well, so I'm excited to be here.
There's a couple of interesting things from Griffin Canning there, both involving the Mets, ironically. You missed Juan's chat. And the Mets, a winning team? What? Ha! Foul.
Hey, they
Juan.
were.
They were.
He draws the foul.
Okay, a couple of things with Griffin Canning that I want to talk about. One, how about Sean Manaea, by the way? Sean Manaea, who got traded here in spring training, did decent in his first year and then really just fell apart in his second year before he ended up moving on. And then he wrote that piece about he didn't try in San Diego and all this other stuff. How about him helping recruit Griffin Canning to the Padres by talking about how great it was to play in San Diego throughout the season on the Mets?
There you go.
Not bad. We like it. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, do we still hate Sean Manaea now? Is that...
Well, it depends how good Griffin Canning pitches to determine that. Now,
clearly has no bad feelings no hard feelings about the city, you know.
I most of the athletes don't. I mean, to be honest with you, they don't, because people love being here. Now, how about this? And I'm going to bring up this tweet that I ended up sending the other shows because I thought it was hilarious.
Uh-oh.
The state of the Angels in reality. I mean, because Ben was talking about this on the morning show today about Griffin Canning. Like, did you hear his part where he said, he felt good pitching in New York. He's pitching for the winning team. It was fun pitching there. You got that extra juice, right, with the crowd and all that fun stuff. He pitched really well in that environment before he got hurt. You know where he didn't pitch well? Anaheim. You know what Anaheim's not? I mean, we love giving Frank S about the Mets. It's fun. It's a fun bit. I mean, a lot of people in the chat like to do that. But at the same time, like the Mets are 10 times better of an organization than the Angels.
And it's a fun little thing that we have as a show. Like everyone else, like, can you really make fun of Chris for being a Rockies fan?
He's
like,
a Dolphins fan. I mean, that's...
But I mean, like that's banter that we have.
But
no other show has.
What I'm saying though is, it's like as much as we like to give you S for the Mets. I mean, the Mets, they've been a team that has won a lot of games in the last half of the year. They've made the playoffs. I mean, they're not as. It's fun to say they're incompetent, and you like to say it too. But in the reality of things, in all seriousness, they're not that big of an incompetent franchise. It is definitely a franchise that has won, has a lot of people go to their games. There's excitement there. And you got Griffin Canning to pitch at a higher level because, I mean, he loved pitching in that atmosphere. Now, you look at how he pitched in Anaheim, an Orange County guy. I mean, it's not like that at all. There's like nobody at the games. It's like pitching in a minor. It's like you're basically pitching for the High Desert Mavericks who don't exist anymore in Anaheim. Team that thinks they're in LA, but they're really not. They're in Anaheim. I mean, this is what you need to know about the Angels. This is how unserious the Angels are. This is a report from Jeff Fletcher, poor guy that has to cover the Angels on a daily basis for the OC registrar. The Angels will not be showing any Cactus League games on television. They will show the Freeway Series from SoCal. They are still working out the details of the regular season TV. They will be streamed via MLB and cable to be determined. They're not streaming any of their Cactus League games. Somebody said, like, what about the other ones? Well, any game that their opponents put on television, you'd be able to watch, but the Angels aren't doing it. I'm sorry, what? That's that's what we're talking about organizationally with the Angels. What are the Angels doing? I can watch every single college baseball game for the whole 2026 season unless it's on Flow Sports. I can watch every TCU game. I can watch every USD game. You can watch every UCSD game. Anybody. You can watch any college baseball game. Every single one of them is being broadcasted except for maybe like one or two. The Angels can't broadcast their spring training games? Are you kidding me? Come on. So, from the perspective back to Griffin Canning, guy like playing in a place where he got juice. He's going to get that juice here in San Diego. I like this signing even more. Sounds like he's ready to go. I mean, he obviously needs to. Same thing as Jason Adam. It's not the pitching. It's doing everything else on the mound, running to your spots, running to the backup spots on balls hit to the gap, covering bunts, being able to cover first base, right? All of those things, the stop and start, the quick agility movements, those are the things he has to pass the test on. But right now, based on everything that we have seen from and heard from Griffin Canning, makes the signing even more. Again, adds to the situation with the starting pitching, which we have an update on, and we were going to talk about when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Setting Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Aztecs basketball was back in action over the weekend. We didn't have much time to talk about this on the actual show. They will play again before we are back on the show. They got a game against Grand Canyon on Tuesday night. But last game recap, Aztecs beat up on Nevada 71-57 at Viejas Arena. Aztecs went on a 13-0 second half run after Nevada tied it at 38, holding them to 32.7% shooting overall. Reese Dixon Waters, 20 points, continued his scoring streak, 14 straight games in double figures. And Magoon Wath was back. He returned after 5 games off. He had 13 points, 5 blocks, 3 for 3 from 3, and the first Aztecs since at least 1996, 1997, with 3+ 3s and 5+ blocks in a single game. It's good to have Magoon Wath back.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge key to this Aztec team that we were expecting, and only with a handful of games left in the regular season. He's coming back. He's showing some form. He's showing some ability. So it was a long season without him, but right now they're getting him at the best time.
Team remains tied for first place in the Mountain West Conference at 12-2. Undefeated at home, 7-0, extending dominance over Nevada at Viejas Arena, 14-0, again in conference play. Bench production, Aztecs ranked number 3 nationally in bench scoring, 36.9 points per game, with reserves accounting for nearly half of the team's offense. Defensive efficiency, top 35 nationally, number 1 in the Mountain West across multiple metrics, including blocks, turnovers forced, and opponent shooting percentage. As you look ahead, Grand Canyon coming up on Tuesday should be a tough game, but if they win that game, the Aztecs are right there at the top of the leaderboard, again, competing with Utah State. They still got to play Colorado State before they take on the Aggies at home, but the Aztecs are in a good position to strike.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're really bracing in this game against Grand Canyon tonight. They're 1-5, San Diego State is, against Grand Canyon all time with their one win coming at Viejas Arena. So this is not going to be a walkover game. You played them really close at Grand Canyon, but coming back here, it hasn't been much more of a safe haven for San Diego State as it has been. So as you would have liked it to be. So definitely a big game that you're really bracing for here tonight for the against the Lopes.
Yeah, but you also got Muguguath back,
Yes,
which
you
is a big pickup. As for women's basketball, 20-plus wins again. Aztecs beat Nevada 78-64, proved at 20-4 overall, 14-1 in the Mountain West. Dominance on the road, 8-1, shooting 55% through 3 quarters and holding Nevada to 30%. Kennedy Lee and Maria Castanito, 12 points each. Castanito was perfect, 6 for 6 from the field. Nala Williams surpassed 1,700 points and 600 rebounds in her career. 5 players in double digits, 6 with 9 points. Aztecs clinch a first-round bye in the Mountain West tournament. They got to be able to win the Mountain West Conference tournament, probably. They got a good resume, but I think Chris Ello might be going back to the regionals and the NCAA tournament when the season is done.
Yeah, I think so. San Diego State, the women's side, has been just an absolute machine this year. And their next game is going to be tomorrow night, as we're recording this on Tuesday, is going to be tomorrow night against UNLV, the top 2 teams in the Mountain West on the women's side.
Yeah, the UNLV has been kind of the class of the Mountain West Conference in terms of women's basketball the last handful of years. Aztecs able to knock them off in the Mountain West Conference tournament to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament last year, see if they can knock them off again here in the regular season. As for softball, early season momentum, Aztecs softball 8-2 after they swept Campbell in the swept the Campbell Cartier Classic, culminating in a 10-5 win over Oregon State. 7-run rally in the 5th to break open the game. Jade Ignacio, who was the Mountain West Conference Player of the Week, 2 weeks now in a row. Kiana Pua, Mountain West Conference Pitcher of the Week. Next up, it's the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic in Cathedral City. It's a huge tournament in softball, and that tough slate for the Aztecs includes number 1 Texas Tech and number 4 Oklahoma.
Yeah, we've seen how crazy Oklahoma has been this season to start off. They have been really, really good at just dominating.
11:38. Braden Surprenant Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Talk a lot of Padres baseball here. We're going to get to the sports thread in just a second. But a couple of things with the starting rotation that I wanted to talk about again. And by the way, we were talking about Armand Marquez and Walker Buehler and what do you do with Randy Vasquez and Kyle Hart on the situation. You know who I forgot about? Tristan McKenzie, another guy. This is a good problem to have. It's a really good problem to have.
Guys,
100%.
MVP season incoming.
That'd be great.
Jackson Merrill hit a home run off of Ron Marinaccio onto the berm in right field. MVP season incoming.
MVP season. Marinaccio cut.
Yeah. Ron Marinaccio washed.
I can't wait for the overreactions of it. Somebody's going to hit a home run that's not supposed to on Friday, and people are going to lose their mind. You know who used to always hit a home run, it seemed like, on the first game of spring training every single year? Austin Hedges. You know who would never hit home runs like the rest of the season? Austin Hedges.
Nick Castellanos off the wall in center field, off of Ron Marinaccio.
Team Italy not doing too great right now. He's playing for Team Italy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. You know what? He's going to get cut from Team Italy just from Frank just being upset about his heritage right there. How dare you disrespect the Italians like that, giving up just home run and wall scrapers. All right, there was something that I wanted to talk about when it came to the rotation. Again, we got the clarification. I knew this was coming. This is what Frank was talking about yesterday in terms of like where contracts sit. Again, for anybody that thinks that Walker Buehler's going to go down to the minor leagues and wait for an opportunity if he doesn't make the team, I'm sorry, dude. That's just not going to happen. You know, last year they talked about it, right? Like last year, he did it. He was willing to do it because he wanted to make the big league. He wanted to make the playoff roster, So I understand why people would think that would be the case, but he's not going to do that. Here's what he signed. Walker Buehler might not begin the season in AAA if he doesn't win the job. This came from an excerpt from the article that Kevin Acee wrote today about Walker Buehler being in a Padres uniform. Walker Buehler is an Article 20 free agent. He is a player with 6 years of service time who finished last season on an MLB roster. Those players who signed minor league deals at least 10 days before opening day have a trio of opt-out dates under the collective bargaining agreement. 5 days before opening day, May 1st, and June 1st. Buehler can trigger an out clause and explore other opportunities during the final week of spring training if the Padres don't commit to carrying him on the active roster. He's going to do that. I mean, there is not, if he has an opportunity, if he's pitching well enough to make a major league team, but not enough to make this team, he's going to pursue other options. So when you talk about this team and the way it's set up with the rotation, this is why it's the tough decisions. You're not going to be able to stockpile these guys because not only is Walker Buehler an Article 20 free agent, but so is German Marquez. I mean, these are two guys that are, well, no, let me rephrase that. German Marquez signed a major league deal. He's another guy that you're not going to send down to AAA. He's just going to leave. So there's not enough spots for the players that they brought in, which breeds extra competition, which makes it even more interesting to see. AJ Cassaville just tweeted out video of Tristan McKenzie pitching today and looking good. It's going to be, this is a fun rotation to watch right now. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys do over the course of the next couple of weeks as we lead into opening day.
Yeah. Cassavell right now, if you're following AJ Cassavell on Twitter, which if you're not, I don't know why you're not, but he's the one that's been posting these videos of Castellanos, Jackson Merrill, because they are taking, the boys are taking live batting practice at the big field today. So that's where you can see those videos.
He's up in the booth right now because they're in the stadium.
Yeah, they're in the big stadium. They're at the one they'll be playing in on Friday.
Yeah, there's the video that Frank talked about. Jackson Merrill hit one to the right field berm. Castellanos straight away center. Marinaccio just getting lit up a little bit.
Said Marco Gonzalez threw first, faced Manny first, and then it was Marinaccio. So we haven't heard anything. We haven't seen anything beyond that.
And then yesterday was Tristan McKenzie. Was the highlights that they showed. His path to the rotation spot definitely got a lot more interesting, a lot more complicated than with the recent arrivals. But according to AJ Cassavell, still thought he looked impressive today, throwing strikes, getting chase as he worked against Jackson Merrill yesterday. So it's interesting to see this rotation play. And we're going to talk more about that later on in the show. But it is time to get to what else is going on in sports.
Is it now?
It's time for the Sports Thread.
You know that group chat, the one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got today?
We've got a couple of interesting stories here. First of all, coming from the NBA.
Number one.
In the National Basketball Association.
Former Dallas Mavericks majority owner Mark Cuban says the NBA should stop pretending tanking doesn't happen and instead embrace the transparency around it. His comment came after Commissioner Adam Silver fined the Utah Jazz $500,000 and the Indiana Pacers $100,000 for sitting healthy players. Cuban argues that fans care more about the overall experience, who they attend the game with, and the hope for a better future than individual game results. He pointed to Dallas's 24-58 season in 2017 that helped position the franchise to trade up in the draft for Luka Doncic, calling the league's $600,000 fines at the time a joke. While Silver acknowledged that tanking is worse than in recent memory and is exploring stricter remedies, Cuban believes the league should focus more on affordability and fan engagement than punishing teams for rebuilding strategies. Is Cuban right? Should the NBA embrace transparent tanking as part of team building, or does that undermine the competitive integrity too much? And speaking of competitive integrity in the NBA is funny.
All right, so Mark Cuban says instead
He's
of focused on
pro-tanking.
he's like do the tanking and make the sport cheaper.
Yes.
He's half right. I mean, they are pricing themselves out. I mean, the downside of all these leagues right now is most of the diehard fans are people that don't make a lot of money and don't have the money to go watch games. And all leagues have catered to who makes the most money for them, which is suites. And a lot of people that attend games in suites, they're only diehards if it's like their company suite. Right? And they get invited company suite, and then they go to a couple of games a year, and they usually watch the games on TV. Or it's mostly like, wealthy people that are there, and it's just kind of something to do in the background while they make deals and stuff. I mean, that's what professional sports is catered to, and that's what college sports is starting to cater to because that's where the money's at. Mark Cuban's on a right path when it comes to they got to make it more affordable for people to go watch and enjoy their sport. Now, on top of that, what makes it more enjoyable is having the players play and not tank. Right? Yeah. I mean, you got to make the league competitive. Here's the deal. Sports are entertainment. People are entertained by good games. Good games on a consistent basis are played by teams that are evenly matched. You need to find a way to make your league as evenly matched as possible. And the only league right now that comes close to that is the National Football League. Sure, there's going to be blowouts in the NFL too. That happens in sports. But the reality of the situation is, in terms of overall content, the NFL has games coming down to the wire every single night. Not every sports league has that. Every sports league trying to find that. But if you're a sports league, the way to get the most, make it affordable to go to games for the average person, make the league competitive. That needs to be the two major goals for all leagues. And unfortunately, I think corporate America has infiltrated too much of professional sports and have made it, a lot of them, an unwatchable product.
Yeah. Canada cheating again in the Olympics.
Oh, no.
Love to see it, taking out the Italian in second place while the Canadian led second Canadian, and they're wiped out the Italian. That's cool.
Wow.
Number two.
Canada likes to cheat a lot.
Yeah, they apparently so much.
Did they cheat for the hockey game today?
So much for Canadian niceness. Jeez. Twins ace Pablo Lopez is likely to miss the entire 2026 season after an MRI revealed a significant tear in the UCL of his right elbow that will likely require Tommy John surgery, the Minnesota Twins have announced. General Manager Jeremy Zoll said Lopez will seek a second opinion, but the injury came after he ended a bullpen session early with soreness. If he undergoes surgery, it effectively ends the season before it starts and also likely knocks him out of the World Baseball Classic, where he was slated to pitch for Venezuela. Lopez has been Minnesota's opening day starter the last 3 years and was coming off a solid 2025 season despite injury. Without him, veteran Joe Ryan becomes the de facto ace, while other young pitchers in the rotation mix get a chance to step up. With Lopez almost certainly out for the year, should the Twins shift to a developmental mindset to build for the future or try to overcome the setback and stay competitive this year?
I'm talking about the Twins and what they're doing.
Yes.
We said it that they should have traded everybody last year. I mean, they basically did, except they held on to Lopez, and they held on to Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton, and now they got Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton gets hurt all the time anyway. I don't know what their plan is. I find it funny that Ken Rosenthal thought like the Twins are being competitive. Like, oh, they need to be competitive. Meanwhile, it's like the Padres try to be. They got to ship off all these contracts because they can't afford this. What are we doing, Major League Baseball? I mean, the Twins are a team that should be just shipping everybody that's not tied down to the ship like the Cardinals did, and instead they're pretending like they're going to compete. Now they can't. Now they got Pablo Lopez with a UCL injury. It's time to just abandon ship, Minnesota. It's time to abandon ship. Just start sending people off. Anything not that tied down. It's the best time for you to go in and start tanking like the NBA does. Go do it.
Speaking of tanking.
Number 3.
Number 22 at college basketball. Number 22, Miami of Ohio kept its perfect season alive last night, defeating UMass 86-77 for its 26th straight win to remain the only undefeated team in Division I, as Peter Schroeder scored 23 points. And I'm not hurting myself, added 16 and 7 assists to lead the Red Hawks to a 26-0 record, 13-0 in the MAC. After UMass rallied from 8 down to briefly take the lead midway through the second half, Miami responded with timely buckets from Ian Elmer and Struder to regain control and close it out, while Leonardo Bettiol, added 18 points and 9 rebounds. At 26-0, is Miami of Ohio a legitimate March threat, or will the lack of high-profile wins catch up with them in the tournament?
I don't think they're that big of a threat. Their schedule's not very good. I know they're undefeated. It's a great story. They might win a game in the NCAA tournament because that first game they're going to be overexcited for, but I don't think they're going to make a huge run. Who knows? I mean, college basketball. It's not crazy. It's college basketball. And we're going to be talking about more college basketball in the noon hour.
Only undefeated team in the nation, Miami of Ohio. That's good on them for that, at least.
Number 4.
This is something we wanted to get to last week, just never had time. MLB has finalized rules for the debut of its ABS challenge system on opening day, including a key tweak ensuring teams will always have at least one challenge in extra innings. Challenges won't carry over into extras, and teams can never have more than one per inning unless they preserve their original 2. Umpires will retain discretion on base runner outcomes during challenge pitches, and individual strike zones will be calibrated to each player's measured height, slightly smaller than the traditional called strike zone. MLB also clarified that position players pitching can't have pitches challenged. In addition, the league adjusted its obstruction rule to penalize runners who intentionally initiate contact to draw a call, and will now strictly enforce base coaches staying inside their box until a pitch is delivered. Will the ABS challenge system improve fairness without slowing the game, or is it the beginning of the end of the human element behind the plate?
I don't know.
They're also saying that I believe they're not going to be showing the strike zone on television anymore.
I'm okay with that.
There might be a 7-second delay or something like that on it.
I'm okay with that because when you show the strike zone, it just immediately people are laser focused on that. And that strike zone, here's the deal. Like,
it's a projection.
It's not 100% accurate. Like, I know how they have 2 cameras on the side, and then they have 1 camera in the back, and that makes the strike zone. It's kind of a guess. And like every ballpark is a little bit off. So it's not 100% accurate to a lot of people. It's not like the ABS system. So I think it's probably smart for them because people are just going to start yelling like challenge, challenge. It's probably not great. It's also probably not great for the teams on the iPads and stuff either. So we'll see. Noon hour, Mick Cronin. Man, what a day.
Padres, Mariners, Cactus League Baseball on the Fan.
Gonna go!
Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Lunchtime on 97.3 The Fan. We're broadcasting live at the Bill House Studios. We know how. We had a lot to get to today on the show still. We want to talk some more Padres baseball later on. Again, the starting rotation is going to be an interesting topic of discussion. We're going to get to college baseball update here in a little bit as well. Plus some more Padres stuff later on in the 1 o'clock hour with the story of Chucky Lozano and his brother. His brother weighs in on the chaos. I'm just saying, like, you would think you would have Chucky's back. Yeah, he doesn't. We'll get to that. Could have surprised some people, I think. A very eye-opening conversation.
Yeah, no friend and family.
Yeah, definitely not. Speaking of nobody's friend, let's talk about Mick Cronin for a little bit. Mick. You got those clips ready to go?
Getting it now.
All right. I have some time here before I want to get to those. So Mick Cronin last night, oh my God, just so funny. Mick Cronin to me is the gift that keeps on giving in college basketball for us in the media and in entertainment business. UCLA had an ugly 82-59 loss to number 10 Michigan State last night. And it wasn't just a bad night. I mean, it exposed a massive issue at UCLA. And Cronin, to be honest with you, kind of called it out. Now, here's the deal. Here's kind of what happened last night. There's a couple of different storylines where everybody's against Mick Cronin. So, Stephen Jamerson II, he's a very nice, great young man. He is. He spent time at USD last couple of years. Very great kid. Incredibly nice person. His dad's a great guy too. So I've gotten to know him and his family, over the course of a couple of years. He just recently transferred to UCLA last offseason. Now, here's the story about Stephen Jamerson II. Stephen Jamerson II, the journey, I mean, he is a kid from Crespi High School in Southern California, and his journey is pretty admirable. He wanted to walk on at Michigan State. He went to Michigan State because one of his classmates from Michigan at Crespi High School talked about going to Michigan State. Really found a great connection. Wanted to go to Michigan State, played college basketball, played high school basketball, and thought, well, I'm going to go to Michigan State, and I'm going to try to walk on. So he tries to walk on to Michigan State, and Michigan State doesn't even allow him to try out. Tom Izzo's like, nah, dude, we don't do that. So then he pivots and goes, well, let me be a manager. Let me be a team manager. Stephen Jamerson II. Michigan State said, no, we don't want you to be a team manager either. So in doing so, he would, wanting to, be part of this program. He was sweeping floors at Breslin Center during Shadow Day. I mean, he ended up transferring out of Michigan State, eventually found his way back to Southern California and played at the University of San Diego for a couple of years. And he ended up starring here at USD. I mean, he was one of the best players here at the University of San Diego. And then he transferred to UCLA. Joined the men's basketball team to prove that he belongs in the Big Ten, to prove that he deserved to be at least given an opportunity at Michigan State. So he returned to East Lansing last night for a prove-it game. It's a great story, is it not? But Tuesday wasn't about his journey. No, it was about what kind of transpired at the end. Late in a 25-point blowout, Stephen Jamerson II fouled Carson Cooper from behind on a breakaway dunk. Player defenseless in the air. Officials reviewed it. They ruled it was a flagrant 1 on Stephen Jamerson II. And Mick Cronin, the head coach at UCLA, kind of escalated the situation more and basically sent Jamerson to the locker room and ejected Stephen Jamerson from the game. But here's the deal. Like, at that point in time, that was the 5th foul for Steve. He had already fouled out. There was under 2 minutes to go. Michigan State's up 25 points. And Jamerson, with the hard foul at Michigan State at the end of the game, gets fouled out. By the way, Stephen Jamerson II in this game, he played 8 minutes, had 5 fouls, and fouled out with 1 rebound or 2 rebounds, whatever it was, and a couple of free throws made. I mean, you could make the argument that you want that, like, oh, he's still playing hard. But, I mean, the reality of the situation, not a great spot for Stephen Jamerson to decide to play hard during the game, in my opinion. I don't think it was. Was the foul that egregious? Not really. It's a hard foul. Probably not a foul that you want to commit under 2 minutes to go when you're down 25 points. Not necessarily a foul that you want to make there. And Mick Cronin didn't like it. But here's where Mick Cronin went wrong. Instead of just telling him, hey, you know what? Not a good spot there. We're not going to do that. Whatever. You already fouled out. Time to really just head to the locker room early, which he probably could have done. He could have still ejected him from the game like that. No. He decides to, like, in a huge mess, screaming, pulling his jersey, like losing his mind. The crowd's going nuts. They're up 25 points. And he tells an assistant, get this guy out, get him off the court, get him off the game. I mean, getting him off the court is, to me, I don't think that's that crazy of a move. The way he did it and bringing more attention to the situation, okay. I understand that he went over the top. Mick Cronin tends to do that. Okay? But Tom Izzo in the postgame joked. He was like, it was the first time he'd seen a coach upgrade a call. Mick Cronin in his postgame, I mean, he had this quoted. They didn't have this part recorded because the funniest part about the entire day was how he talked to a media member. But he said, if you want to, first of all, he said, Stephen Jamerson II is a great kid. It's a good young man. But if you want, this is a direct quote from Mick Cronin, if you want to be a tough guy, do it during the game. Block out, rebound. The game's a 25-point game. You don't do it right there. You know what? I kind of agree with Mick in that particular sense. I mean, if you want to talk about how it's like, hey, they disrespected us, disrespected me by not letting me walk on, and then they didn't let me be a manager. It's a big game for Stephen Jamerson II, right? It's a huge game for him. It's not like he just got subbed in for the final 8 minutes of the game. He went in early with like 14 minutes to go in the first half. He played for 8 minutes and ended the day with 5 fouls. I kind of agree with Mick on a sense that, yo, dude, if you wanted to play tough and you wanted to play hard, right? Because that's the big excuse for why, he's just playing hard late. He had his opportunity to play hard early in the game. But then you foul the guy in a fast break after you turn the ball over, and you do it in a way where he is in jeopardy of potentially getting hurt when they're up 25 points, and then you want to act like a tough guy in the middle because he jumps in your face, because why would you hit me like that on a breakaway when it's not a tight contested game on what is a flagrant 1 foul? Yeah, I could see where Mick Cronin would have a problem with that. How he handled that situation was really drastic. I do agree with that. It's a little bit too far. But him saying this, that's not a problem. Then comes the reporter exchange. But before I get to that, the bigger issue at UCLA, Cronin didn't stop at the foul. He publicly said in the postgame, I mean, they don't play hard enough. Some guys are playing below their capabilities. I didn't like the way we practice. Who starts is irrelevant. Reference some guys need to go see the wizard. I mean, Mick Cronin's an interesting guy. But I tell you what, like, in this day and age, I got to tell you, I just feel like at this point, people are upset with the way that coaches get tough on players. Now, Mick Cronin's like at a whole other level. He needs to tone it down a little bit. But at the same time, his logic right there makes a lot of sense to me of why he was upset. I mean, he can't get his players to play hard ever in this era of NIL and traveling all over the Big Ten. And now all of a sudden, when you're down 25 points on the road, that now we're going to play hard. I get where you're at. I get the thinking on that. As a coach, it's frustrating. I'm sure it's a day in and day out basis. I'm not going to say Mick Cronin's a saint by any means. It sounds like he's really a tough guy to deal with. I'm gonna say that right now. The way he handled that situation was rough, but at the same time, you want to act like, Steven Jamerson's a great kid. I have met him. He used to play at USD. Him and his dad, I both met. Great people. That was not the right move right there by Steven Jamerson II. Mick Cronin took it to a whole nother level, but it's crazy the social media presence that this particular instance had. The biggest one was about the reporter exchange. After the game, a reporter asked Mick Cronin about Michigan State student section chanting Xavier Booker's name, who used to play at Michigan State. And this is the response from Mick Cronin. This is top-notch Mick Cronin. I thought this question was stupid. I still think it's stupid. Reporters are all upset about it. I can't believe that Mick Cronin would disrespect us like this. You want to get disrespected? Don't ask nonsense. That's a nonsense question. Here's the exchange.
What was your thoughts in the student section chanting Booker's name?
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant overall the way that you
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
Did you like
You should take it.
the preparation of the?
Do you really think I care about the other?
No, I don't.
team's
I don't think you care about the other.
Are you raising your voice at me?
No, I'm.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Come on, dude.
No reason.
Come on. Yes, you are. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
Are you raising your voice at me? That gets me every time. Are you raising your voice at me? Look, Mick picked a fight. He picked a fight right there. I mean, he could have he answered the question, and then the reporter kind of got shut down, and it didn't sound, he wasn't really pushing back. He was like, I'll take it. That obviously upset Mick Cronin a little bit, because then he went back to it. Hilarious response. I'm seeing reporters right now like all defending this guy. That is a stupid question. It's stupid. What do you mean? Like, you're like, I'm so tired of reporters asking dumb things and then go, oh, Mick Cronin yelled at me. I can't believe this coach yelled at me. You asked a stupid question. You know, us reporters, we need to be treated with more respect. You want to get treated with more respect? Like, stop asking dumb things. That's a dumb question. Mick Cronin kills me, man. He is the gift that keeps on giving. Do you have that other clip where somebody, all of the best calls, all of the best press conference stuff, and here's the thing. Mick, you could tell by the way he acts, that guy wants to get fired so bad. He wants out of UCLA so bad. He doesn't want to deal with traveling in the Big Ten. I mean, everything's stacked against him. He was against going to the Big Ten the entire time. He wants to be out. Mick Cronin kills me, man. Here's a montage of the best Mick Cronin quotes as the UCLA head basketball coach. Playing with, by the way, somebody paired this to the One Shining Moment music in the background.
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant overall the way that you.
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked. There's so many mistakes. I'd like to fire myself. If I focused on Joe Lenardi's hair, that would be tough. Find me the biggest, nastiest vodka drinking Eastern European you can. You know, just find some guy that used to like wrestle bears or Lithuania or something. Defense was awful all night. We deserve to lose. No need to ask. I'm completely unhappy with the officiating. Basketball coaches got diarrhea of the mouth. Did my buddy Kelvin put up the GoFundMe page?
Tyler Bilodeau was 8 for 8 from the line today.
It's about time.
Yeah.
I could do that with this suit on. Made shots come and go throughout life like your high school girlfriend. My dad's real happy about it. He's 84. He's going to have to take 2 naps on Saturday to be able to watch us play Saturday night. Do you really think I care about the other?
No, I don't. I don't think you care about the other.
Are you raising your voice at me?
No, I'm.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Come on, dude. Come on, yes, you can hear everybody standing here listening. Everybody, this is on camera. They can hear you. Please tell me. I didn't know you. I mean, is this a plan? Is this a plan question? What you were doing before today in life, man, doesn't matter. What the hell's that got to do? You either. And today doesn't matter. We play Tuesday. I log on to baselineoutabounds.com and try to figure out a way to score a basket. Yeah, when we lose, buddy, I'm not like a lot of the people in life. I see no place. As you know, I got the greatest dog ever. I'll bring him in here for a press conference. Can't wait to get home. People want to go out to eat? Nope, I want to go see my dog.
It might have been the lowest.
What time is it? See? I mean, if he could call me, my dog be wondering where the hell I'm at. My dad used to tell guys, this ain't fishing. But in my dad's era, fishing meant you were lazy. You get a 12-pack of beer and sit on a boat all day. I should have went to law school like my mom told me. Billable hours, man. You guys got anything? Because I'm hungry.
Trent tonight had
It's amazing. It's amazing. So funny. I just, here's the deal. And this is, I get it because I also coach. It's like, I think a lot of reporters forget, I know they got to do their job, but sometimes they ask stuff that just is the wrong time to ask people things. They just got their ass handed to them by Michigan State. He had to deal with, you know, he has the whole thing with Steven Jamerson, and then the guy goes like, what do you think about the student section yelling things at your players? Ha ha ha. What do you think he was gonna say? Oh yeah, you know what? Hats off to their crowd. It really got to us. We really they did such a great job at getting to us. Give me a break. Give me a break. That entire montage was hilarious. The one shining moment in the background, just chef's kiss. Mick Cronin's the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to entertainment. His press conferences are hilarious. They're so funny to me. People they get so irritated with Mick Cronin. I find it to be hysterical. People get so triggered. Look at, like, even in the chat, people like that just hate Mick Cronin are just losing their minds. So funny. Are you raising your voice at me? I love that clip, Frank.
And like I said, I mean, I get it. Fine. He didn't, for my money, he didn't do anything wrong there. It was, to me, it was the itching, the baiting into an argument.
He didn't let it go.
That's the only thing that I didn't like about that.
Because I will give the reporter credit. He got crushed immediately, and then he just stopped talking. And then Mick was just so enamored with getting asked that question that he started to like poke the bear a little bit more. And then he drops the, are you raising your voice at me? I gotta hear that one more time. I gotta
get back to it.
Foul on
Frank.
Frank.
Calm down.
We gotta take a break.
It's right here.
All right. One more time.
Focus your thoughts in the student section chanting Booker's name.
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant overall the way that you.
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
Did you like
You should take it.
the preparation of the?
Do you really think I care about the other?
No, I don't.
team's
I don't think you care about the other.
Are you raising your voice at me?
No,
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Every
Come
time.
on, dude.
No reason.
Come on. Yes, you are. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
Are you raising your voice at me? Gets me every time. Seth Davis last night on Twitter. I've asked him much more questions than this. It's not the reporter's fault the Bruins got torched. We got to take a break. We're going to talk more Padres when we come back.
Chris Ello here from Gwynn and Chris, and I've told you about Spiro's great food and beautiful locations in Coronado and La Jolla. But I want to remind you that Spiro's also does great catering. Their delicious Mediterranean cuisine will
UCSD men's basketball continue to hover around the 500 mark in the Big West Conference. They just came off of a win, defeated UC Riverside 72-66 at Lion Tree Arena, won 3 straight at home and 3 of the last 4 overall. Hudson May scored a career-high 24 points plus 7 rebounds and 4 assists, which earns him the Big West Player of the Week.
Yeah, absolutely. And he did a fantastic job as well. Tritons are now 17-2 when shooting better than their opponent, 15-1 when leading at halftime, 7-0 at home. That is a huge game. We talked about it being a huge game as far as getting into the conference schedule. You've only got your 8-7 now. You had a chance. You could have fallen pretty far behind. And again, only a couple of games left. The next one being at UC Irvine on Saturday. Only a couple games left in the season. You really need to make it count now.
Yeah, especially against a team in Irvine that's tied for the number 1 spot in the Big West standings right now, competing with Hawaii for a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, that's going to be a 1-bid league, and so that's going to happen in the Big West tournament in Vegas. But aside from that, UCSD is trending upward late in conference play. Mays is emerging as a star at the perfect time. Defense is holding teams at 37% shooting, and that's a formula for March. The women's team. It's a general theme here in San Diego. The women's basketball teams are all playing at a higher level. UCSD and San Diego State playing at a very high level. Women's basketball for the Tritons, Frank, 13-2 now in the Big West after what was a triple overtime thriller at UC Davis, but they bounced back with a strong road win at UC Riverside, winning that game 79-68.
Yeah, exactly. Michaela Rose scoring 24 points against her former team. Lev Feeman scoring a career-high 20 points off the bench. Aaron Condren, 8th double-double of the season. I mean, they have been incredibly good. Still on top of the Big West standings as well. And then while the men's team go to UC Irvine, the women's team will have UC Irvine come to them this weekend.
Yeah, and that's a big comeback or a big bounce back win because they immediately responded after what was an emotional triple overtime loss. Still tied for the most Big West wins in program's D1 era, and this team has proven resilience and depth. And another team that might be playing in the NCAA tournament here in town in women's college basketball. Now in softball, they're off to a great start. They're 10-1, the Tritons are. They've won 7 in a row, 6-0 at the UCSD co-hosted tournament last weekend. 7 straight wins, as mentioned before. Malia Cherry, 750 batting average last week, 2 home runs, earns her the Big West Field Player of the Week.
Yeah, absolutely. A big rally win over Colorado State on Cherry's 3-run home run as well. Best Division I start in program history. They will play in the Mary Nutter Classic against Cal Baptist, Texas A&M, who's ranked number 11, Seattle U, and Rutgers in that tournament as well.
Offense explosive so far for the Tritons on the softball field. Freshman Bella Stembro already 4 wins in the circle. Legit national measuring stick games coming this weekend. And again, we talked about it earlier with San Diego State competing in the Mary Nutter Classic. This is a big tournament out in the West Coast for the best teams in college softball. So another big measuring stick for the softball program at UCSD. Speaking of measuring sticks, the baseball team took on the number 1 team in the country, the UCLA Bruins, number 1 in certain polls, number 2 in others, but they were able to salvage the weekend and get a victory on Sunday. It's easy to go up there, compete, lose all 3 games, but UCSD, after losing the first 2, punch UCLA back in the mouth, hit 4 home runs in the win, and win 8-7 on Sunday to start the season 1-2. But it's 1 win against the team that's top 2 in the country on your resume.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really rough way to start the season if you're UCSD, but they get their highest ranked Division I win in program history with that win on Sunday when they could have just easily rolled over and gotten swept. Next, they're going to be part of the hosting of the Tony Gwynn Legacy Tournament against Utah, Creighton, BYU, and Western Michigan. So a rough start, but to be 2-1, but to be 1-2 after starting the season against the number 1 team in UCLA is a heck of a lot better than being 0-3.
Yeah, Nick Costello hit the go-ahead 2-run homer in the 9th inning to give them the lead and then ultimately the victory over the Bruins. But, that means that matters big time. Beating the number one team in the country is important, regardless if you only did it once in a 3-game series. Power offense looks real again for the Tritons and very much a confidence builder heading into a home opening weekend. UCSD is the only team in town that doesn't have to leave their stadium aside from San Diego State. USD does play one game at. I tell you what, Mick Cronin needs a Big East job. That's where he needs to go. He is. I was just texting with Drake Hills. Drake goes, I'd play for this guy. He is like Northeast, old school Big East basketball. That's what he is. People don't like it. He goes a little bit too far sometimes, but I tell you what, there's a lot of teams that have issues with guys missing the bus, showing up late, all this basically cluster going on. I bet you UCLA doesn't have that problem. He went too far with the theatrics on the court with ejecting his player that fouled out. I do agree with that. And the foul itself wasn't the issue. But are you raising your voice at me?
Are you raising your voice at me?
Gets me every time. His face on that is priceless. Priceless. I do want to get to let's quickly get you an update on college baseball, and then we'll get to the San Diego Padres again. Aztecs swept the series against Long Island. They improved to 3-0 on the year. Over the weekend, Carson Johnson, Mountain West Pitcher of the Week, after this weekend. 7 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, first collegiate start, took a no-hitter into the 7th. Staff combined for 46 punch-outs, most since 2019. Dominant stuff, but competition level does matter as Long Island starts the season 0-3. Max Farrell, Mountain West Freshman of the Week, 455 average, 818 slash, 6 runs, 4 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Looks like a real building block bat for the Aztecs. Obviously, strength of schedule is not great. All of those games are quad 4 games, but good start to the season for San Diego State. Their game got rained out against Irvine last night. USD took 2 out of 3 against Charlotte over the weekend, split the doubleheader Saturday after a 13-0 Mercy Rule loss, but they won on Friday night. Bats exploded in game 2, 14-4 win on Saturday in Charlotte. And then last night, comeback win for the Toreros. They won in 11 innings. They won 6-3, scored all runs in the 7th inning or later. Took advantage of 2 Dirtbags errors in the 11th. Gabe Springer had a game-saving diving catch in the 10th inning. Bases loaded for the Dirtbags with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th inning. What looked like it was going to be a bloop shot to win the game. Gabe Springer runs it down in shallow left field, makes a diving play. Brock Ungrich, head coach, called it weird stuff is going to happen in games. And that's what USD has been dealing with. They turned out a triple play. They've created chaos with on errors. Very much thriving in late game situations. Their metrics look a lot better because Charlotte came in preseason a little bit higher than Long Island. And then again with UCSD, they're not in action until this weekend. And we of course talked about that they were able to knock off at least one game against UCLA over the weekend. So that's your little quick check on college baseball. When we come back, take a look at again at a situation with the Padres that we haven't, maybe a philosophy that the Padres have been able to work out. And it's something that has to involve getting guys at spring training. Union Tribune wrote an article on this, but Padres' new formula, pay less and get more. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 to the Fan. Selection Sunday is about 4 weeks away, and right now, San Diego State is living exactly where it usually does this time of year, unfortunately on the bubble. And for the next couple of weeks, we are going to be giving you bubble updates on Aztecs basketball. Aztecs just won their 3rd straight, beating Nevada, and they currently sit 45th nationally in resume rankings, around 65% consensus chance to receive an at-large bid, and firmly in the work-to-do tier. That means they're not safely in. They're not on the outside looking in. They're right in the middle of what is called chaos, Frank.
Yeah, and we've talked about it all season long with San Diego State and how badly those non-conference losses in those overtime games that they had in the non-conference we're really, really hurting. We're really going to hurt them. And this is where it's happening right now. They've also had a couple of iffy conference losses as well, notably the one against Grand Canyon. So, I mean, this is kind of where they've earned. They are where they're earned. They've deserved to be right now.
Now, what's working for San Diego State? What's the good news? The Mountain West is still tracking towards 3 bids, which has been the norm the past 5 seasons. Utah State seems to be a lock right now. San Diego State currently has a noticeable cushion over New Mexico in at large odds, 65% to 43%. That head-to-head win over New Mexico on January 17th, that matters, and it will matter again when they play on February 28th. The Aztecs don't have a flashy resume, but they have what the committee respects: solid net profile, competitive predictive metrics, and momentum. And historically, the committee does give the Mountain West respect, especially San Diego State, who actually wins games in the NCAA tournament, other than most teams in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, and of course, made it to the NCAA final a couple of years ago against UConn. So the Mountain West is a lot better of a basketball conference than it is in football. So yeah, it's worth noting that they do get a little bit more respect in basketball. But again, with only a couple of games left against big major opponents at home, you really need to take care of business if you want to solidify yourself as a team that is going to be going into the national championship tournament.
Let's talk about the bad news. Now, this is the part Aztecs fans are not going to love. They're 45th in resume rankings, which is not comfortable territory. That's sweating out Selection Sunday territory. The problem isn't that San Diego State is bad. The problem is that they're not clearly better than the other bubble teams across the country. The SEC might get 9 or 10 teams into the NCAA tournament. The Big Ten could get 10 teams in the tournament. The ACC could get 8. The Big 12 already has 6 absolute locks. When power conferences soak up bids, that squeezes leagues like the Mountain West. And if the Mountain West drops from 3 bids to 2, that's where things get dangerous for San Diego State. I mean, you look at the Big 12, the ACC, the Big 10, the SEC, there's a lot of teams that you're not separating yourself from. And the thing that hurts you again, the Troy loss at home in triple overtime.
Yeah, the Troy loss at home. And I think also how bad you lost to Michigan, who's now the number 1 ranked team in the country. That is also going to play heavily as a factor. It's not just that you lost, it's that you got completely dismantled by the Wolverines too.
And there are teams that you are battling with in bubble positions that are not either have played Michigan non-conference that did not get blown out, like a TCU who lost by 4, or teams in the Big Ten that have beaten Michigan or have at least hung a lot tougher and closer than losing by 50. That goes a long way. Now, let's talk about the national bubble chaos. Look around the country. Texas just surged into the should be in category. Georgia has fallen hard. That opens up another opportunity. UCF is sliding. That's a big bubble game on Tuesday night. Yep. UCF and TCU. The loser of that might fall out. St. Mary's is not as safe as it used to be in years past, especially with the emergence of Santa Clara, who is starting to lurk. New Mexico continues to hover. Virginia Commonwealth has now won 9 straight, but still isn't comfortable. This is one of those years where record strength of schedule and conference perception are going to collide. And historically, the committee favors power conference teams, teams with big quad 1 wins, and strong predictive metrics. And San Diego State doesn't check too many of those boxes. They check a couple, but not really all of them. And they got to be able to do that before March shows up.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And of course, like teams like St. Mary's, you're always used to seeing them being very, very competitive. Santa Clara has started to emerge, as you had mentioned.
Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. Need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you could take me down in sports trivia today. Frank said he worked really hard on the question today. He said he had it ready to go. Ready to go. If you could take me down in sports trivia today, you'd be qualified for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Zach Bryan at Snapdragon Stadium on July 31st. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Wow. How about this? Big news. Ron and La Mesa figured out how to be in the chat. I can't wait to get spammed with Kansas State stuff. I'm excited about it. I like it.
We love to see it.
Love to see it. All right, we're going to get to the Padres' new formula. Pay less, get more.
Can he find the become a member button?
Aha! That's the next step. Oh, hopefully he's subscribed. Hopefully he's subscribed to the show. That would be great. We want to try to get as many subscriptions as possible. We picked up a handful more again today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the Braden Surprenant Show on YouTube. It's super easy to do. It's an easy couple of clicks. Go to youtube.com/@B_SURP. You'll pull up our page. We've got a lot of extra content up there. We got to post the Mick Cronin montage on there. It's going to be great. We have a contestant too. We'll get to him in about 10 minutes. All right, perfect. Let's get to I want to get to this Padres stuff, but also according to Mark Ziegler and a lot of accounts out there in college basketball, it is being reported that Steve Lavin is out as USD's basketball coach. It is being reported as such. We haven't seen any official ruling from USD yet, but according to Mark Ziegler, several sources close to the program told the Union Tribune that Steve Lavin was fired Wednesday with 3 games left in the regular season, plus at least one in the West Coast Conference tournament. Players were being summoned to a meeting with athletic director Kimya Massey at 2 p.m. So that is the latest with USD basketball. So we'll keep you updated on that if we get any other news, but it sounds like Steve Lavin is out as the basketball coach at the University of San Diego. Let's get to this kind of interesting deal. Padres' new formula. Pay less, get more. The Padres the last couple of seasons have done this. The Padres paid Nick Pivetta $4 million in 2025 and got roughly $30 million in market value production. Paid Jurickson Profar $2.5 million in 2024 and received a massive surplus value. Team likely doesn't win 93 games in 2024 without Profar, and likely doesn't win 90 games last season without Nick Pivetta's 31 starts. You're starting to see a theme emerging with the Padres. Padres playoff viability has depended heavily on bargain outperformers because the core still drives the ceiling of the team, but also takes up a lot of the money. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill, Xander Bogaerts. But depth value signings have increasingly become the difference between good and great seasons for the Padres. No longer bonus production. This is kind of structure to their success. Now, in 2026, the Padres have gone back to the bargain bin haul. Recent additions for a max commitment of under $10 million. For $10 million, they got Walker Buehler, they got Griffin Canning, they got Armand Marquez, they got Nick Castellanos, and they got Ty France. Financial breakdown, according to the San Diego Union Tribune, Castellanos is getting $780,000, with the Phillies paying the rest of his $20 million contract. Griffin Canning was getting $2.5 million guaranteed. Armand Marquez is getting $1.75 million guaranteed. Ty France is getting $1.35 million if he makes the roster. And Walker Buehler gets $1.5 million up to $2.5 million with incentives if he makes it through the year. Not all will make the roster. All are long shots, other than obviously are more long shots than Pivetta and Profar were, but they are not pure desperation flyers like the aging veterans from prior seasons. I mean, the goal isn't splash, it's upside per dollar. They are looking for value, and the Padres are getting very creative in doing so. And speaking of creativity, their accounting and cash flow strategy. Padres are aggressively structuring contracts to push money forward. Mutual options with buyouts shift real payments into 2027. Canning and Marquez both guaranteed $1 million this season. Rest are deferred. And the buyouts hit future payroll. Similar structure used with Michael King, Elias Diaz, Miguel Andujar. This is a post-splurge Padres baseball team. After aggressive spending from 2021 to 2023, they are now cost-conscious, cash flow sensitive, and creative with Major League Baseball rules. Now, it's not as, it's not getting the same glam as the Dodgers because they could buy their way out of a lot of problems. But I tell you what, this is the Padres using MLB rules to get creative with the budgets that they have. Assistant General Manager Josh Stein has praised A.J. Preller as one of the best in the game at roster construction and contract mechanics. I don't think you could really argue against that with the track record that they have in putting teams together with the budget restrictions that they have. This is a front office leaning into ingenuity instead of brute financial force of just writing checks. Pavetta's contract was kind of used as the blueprint for a lot of these deals, as reported by Kevin Acee. Pavetta's deal structured to ease the 2025 burden. He had $1 million base salary and a $3 million signing bonus in 2025. His salary jumped to $19 million in 2026 and $32 million owed over the final 2 years, expected to opt out after this season, is Nick Pivetta. This is the Padres' gamble, of course. Bet on the value year, assume players will leave, take short-term surplus, and avoid long-term damage. It worked once, but can lightning strike again? Preller got extended because of this, right? Everything that he was been able to put together, he received a multi-year extension through at least 2028, according to reports. Hit rate on bargain contracts, kept team competitive despite payroll recalibration, continued postseason appearances. Ownership at this point values the creativity, the aggressiveness, ability to navigate financial constraints. And Preller sees it simply as he loves San Diego, loves baseball, and believes the organization is close to its first championship. But make no mistake, his survival obviously was tied to outperforming payroll expectations. Ty France, Gold Glove, no guarantee. Ty France won a Gold Glove at first base in the American League last season, yet faces competition from Gavin Sheets, also competing with Miguel Andujar and Nick Castellanos at first. Right-handed bat in a crowded right-handed mix. May need positional flexibility at second and third to make the roster, and defense alone won't win him the job. Roster fit will. Some under-the-radar notes from Kevin Acee. Johnny Brito progressing post-UCL brace surgery, bullpen option later this season. Bullpen option later in the season. Tirso Ornelas has been designated for assignment, and Padres are clearly prioritizing immediate upside over developmental patience. And I like the way that this roster is built. I like a lot of the moves that have happened so far. I like the competition that is starting to come together, but they are going with this pay less and get more. So far, it's worked out. I don't know if it's a long-term success, but right now, Frank, when you spend the money that you have spent with the Padres, these are the ways that the Padres have to operate to fill a competitive roster.
Yeah, exactly. You want to try to get as close to a competitive budget as you possibly can, and we've seen how much of the team's revenue that they put into the team. It's over 60%. So it's not like they're not trying. They're playing with as much money as they possibly can and trying to find the best. This is going to sound worse than it actually is, but trying to find the best bargain bin value that they can right now. That's the way not only how you have to do it, it's the way a lot of teams win championships as well. It's not always the big names. It's sometimes it's the guys that come in as role players that find themselves in a bigger role than what they were ever intended to be, such as a Gavin Sheets from last year.
And there's got to be a couple of those guys this year. I mean, we talked about it before last week, and now it's even, more of a conversation. Who are those players going to be? Who's going to be the guy that they brought in on a minor league deal that makes the team and makes a big impact? And right now it seems like it's going to be something from the pitching side of things more than the hitting side of things, but we'll see. I mean, I like the way this roster fits. I can't wait to see these guys compete. We got a couple more days before they start playing games. And then when they start playing games, Frank, start analyzing a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of different angles for this team that involves the roster, and all of them I think are in a way better position for the Padres than they were last year when you were trying to fit players that were way past their playing age into a roster to help facilitate the team. And it was a much bigger risk.
The most fun part about Friday is trying to figure out trade partners to shed some salary when Manny and Fernando strike out in their first at-bats.
That's right, because everybody's going to have their overreaction on Friday. Somebody's going to hit a home run that's not supposed to. Somebody's going to give up a home run that they're not supposed to. Somebody's it's going to be mass chaos on social media. I can't believe we're paying this guy this much. He didn't run out you can't wait for that. I mean, I don't like Manning because he doesn't run it out right now in spring training. So ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right. We got to get to today's midday sports standoff. If a contestant calls in and is able to take me down in sports trivia, they will be qualified for a chance to win a pair of tickets to Zach Bryan at Snapdragon Stadium on July 31st. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Let's get to today's midday sports standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, who is blessed to play today's game? And I'm going to say blessed because when people hear your question today, you're going to have to stop. You know what? People are going to start raising their voices at you. That's what's going to happen. Who is the poor sap today?
Wow. It's Scott in Rancho Bernardo.
Scott.
Hey, I'm no sap.
Hey, you know what? You're not.
I'm not a sap.
But you know what? I feel bad for you, man. You want to know why? You want to know why I feel bad for you? Because I feel bad for both of us, Scott. You want to know why I feel bad for both of us? Frank, go ahead and give us today's question.
Today's question is, in the last 10 years, there have been 7 different winners of the Cactus League.
Unbelievable. Are you kidding me, Scott? Are you kidding me? That's a foul on Frank. Is that not a foul? Are you? I mean, unless you know this.
You're talking about spring training winning?
Yes.
Who cares?
He said, can you name the last 7 Cactus League winners? I think this is like Frank doing some type of protest.
Are you raising your voice at me?
I am raising my voice at you, Mick. Are you kidding me?
You gave me the idea yesterday. Honestly, this is on you. You gave me the idea yesterday.
How?
When we looked to see who won the TVs for spring training last year. You gave me the idea.
Well, Scott, I told you. I said I feel bad for you.
I want
to raise my voice.
It was Braden's idea.
You should. I think you should. But you know what? Go ahead and try to guess the first team.
Oh, man. Dodgers.
See, we're not off to a bad start. Dodgers did win. They won in 2024.
Oh, wow. The Giants.
Giants won last year. See, we're rolling. We're doing okay.
Wow.
Scott?
Mariners.
No, the Mariners have not won in the last 10 years.
It's usually like stupid teams. It's usually teams that never win. So I'm going to say the Rockies.
No, the Rockies have not won.
They can't even win. They can't even win the Cactus League.
Yeah, the Rockies don't win anything. Scott?
White Sox.
White Sox have not either.
Well, the good news is, Scott, it's 7 different teams to win right?
Yes.
The good news is there's only 15 teams that play in the Cactus League. So I bet somebody's eventually going to win here as long as we keep naming Cactus League teams. Let's go to Goodyear, Cincinnati. No.
Not Cincinnati.
What about the other team there? Let's go, Scott.
Royals.
The Royals won in 2021.
How many teams do we have so far?
You have 3.
3 of the 7.
4 left.
I think the Angels won one time.
They've won more than one time. They've won 3, as a matter of fact. 2017, 22, and 23.
Even if they just won 1, you know what that was going to be?
More than they won during the regular season.
No. They would have won more Cactus Leagues than games are going to air on television this year during the Cactus League. Go ahead, Scott.
Shows you how worthless spring training is.
Exactly. All right,
Scott.
Which on that vein, I'll do the A's.
Oaklamento.
The Oaklamento A's have
Wow.
the Oaklamento A's have also won 3. They've won 15, 19, and 20.
Scott is on a roll. You know what? Maybe he's not a poor guy after all. All right, how many more do we need?
We have 2
Okay.
single year winners.
What about Arizona? Arizona ever win? Ha-ha!
Arizona 2016. So you guys are tied at 3. Whoever gets this next one wins it.
Come on, Scott. Win the dumb question.
God.
No, the Cubs have not won it.
What
Braden,
about
you guys are both on 2 strikes. Scott, that's your 3rd strike. If Braden gets this wrong, I'll get you a rebuttal.
Nate? Scott is butter.
Right.
He's on a roll. Foul on.
I don't want to be a sap.
Let's go with Cleveland.
Scott,
doors back open, Scott.
Scott, you get a rebuttal here.
Oh, let's see. You said Arizona, right?
I did, yeah.
Join me, Christmas. Did we do Padres?
No, did the Padres win a Cactus League championship?
No, they have not. Not in the last 10 years, they have not.
Oh, man.
This has turned out to be quite fun now, hasn't it?
Milwaukee. No! Wow!
Scott,
We're just
sorry.
process of elimination, just naming Cactus League teams.
Turned out to be fun, though.
Boo this man.
Oh, for God's
Technical foul. Somebody in the chat, callous all day. Looking up Grapefruit League winners right now to get ready for tomorrow. That's a foul.
Braden,
dude.
you win the TV.
Thank you. Can't wait. Can't wait to go pick it out at Costco. Foul. Why do I get a foul? Are you raising your voice
It
at
was
me?
your idea.
It was not my idea.
No, it was.
No,
Are
it
you
was.
raising
your voice at me?
It was your idea. It was you saying what you said yesterday that put the nugget in my head, and then I went and looked and thought, well, this could be fun.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it. I feel so bad for Scott. Just, it's terrible.
Hey, came down to the wire. That was what you could. That's all you could have asked for was a competitive game, and that's what you got. You got a competitive game.
Foul completely on Frank. You know what? I don't want to be rude to the UCLA situation, but this might be one where you get like kicked out of the own team. Kicks you out of the game.
It was your idea.
I was not. We were talking about the Cactus League winners because it was fun to look back to see how the season they did.
I thought this would be fun. So,
oh man, the recurring bit of Frank. I mean, you're getting close to Scraby range. Just saying.
I don't see. I mean, that's. I thought that was decent. I thought it was.
I mean, it's definitely nobody's got an edge on that. I tell you what, if I went to trivia night and they asked that question, I would be like, I would walk out. I'd be like, this is nonsense. This is the one sports question you had? Are you kidding me?
Well, I can't start dropping opening day lineups yet. Like I can't start.
I mean,
doing
you
that.
can. You could do it for whoever.
I'm not gonna do the random opening day lineup, Padres opening day lineup in 1971. I'm not doing that yet.
Have you ever listened to Chris's Funtabulous Game Show or Fantabulous Game Show? He's never listened to that. Chris does it, and then I think Scrabian tries to take on a contestant or something. He has a list with multiple winners on it, and so like the list that has multiple. If you get one that
multiple winners on,
I know, but then you get more points for the win, like for getting those. If that makes sense. So like the Angels won multiple times. Like whoever get the Angels will get 3 points, and then you do it based on points. Name hot dog brands that have natural casings. I'm just saying, like, I think, yeah, I agree. Like, start stealing. You might have to start. You know what you should do? You should just steal some of Ella's questions.
Yeah, I'm not a gimmick stealer. I'm sorry.
I mean, the format of the question of the show of the game we play is relatively the same.
A stolen gimmick, yes, I know.
That Ello stole from me previously. Everybody's stealing everybody's gimmicks.
I thought it was fine.
You know what? Maybe I have to come up with the
I'm
questions.
trying to be creative and different,
maybe
man.
we need to do the midday sports stand up against Frank.
I'm trying to be creative and different. You know?
I'm just
That's what I'm going for. Instead of the
just
same old questions all the time.
Tomorrow's question: can you outdo Frank in naming the NASCAR teams?
No, you can't.
Find out. Chucky Lozano, not really friendly with his family. Talk about it next.
Hey, it's been a
Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to talk about still on the show. We're going to dive into more Padres baseball near the end of the show, but also here in this final hour, we do want to. There's a story that is interesting. We should have talked about it in the noon hour. It fits the noon hour more. It's going to make Frank hungry, but you know what? I think it's worth the conversation. I really do. I think it's worth the conversation. It's amazing what people have lawsuits for. I'll tell you that. I mean, I'll tell you that. It involves food. So, we're going to get to that in a little bit. But this happened yesterday. As we were signing off, we've kind of, in our San Diego FC update on YouTube, we have briefly talked about this, but not a lot. If you missed it, again, youtube.com/@B_SURP, @BSURP. We got a lot of different content out on there. If you missed any of our content that we had from the show, that gets posted there. We got our conversation with Sam Levitt from yesterday, updates on UCSD, USD, San Diego goals, the Aztecs, the update on San Diego FC. I mean, all that stuff is right there. youtube.com/@B_SURP. So we're going to, we've talked about this a little bit, but this happened yesterday near the end of our show. We didn't have time to really dive into the conversation. I saw Darnay Tripp tweeted out from an article, but there was an article on ESPN.com in their football coverage about the Chucky Lozano situation. Now, here's the Chucky Lozano situation, just as a refresher. So Chucky Lozano is reportedly not in San Diego FC's plans for 2026. We talked about that. That happened at the beginning of the year. That was kind of a major story that came out. And he's under contract, but despite being under contract, San Diego FC is like, look, we don't really want to go in this direction anymore. We don't want to have Chucky Lozano part of our plans. We just don't. Now, it was for a lot of different things. Obviously, they didn't gel together with the team. I mean, San Diego FC is letting him work out with the team still. They try to find a place for him to go, and he's getting paid. He's one of those designated players that you could pay him whatever kind of money. I mean, he was supposed to be the face of the franchise. Very much so. A disappointment after 1 year with some of the things that have happened on the outside. But I give San Diego FC credit. Like, they don't want this guy part of the organization anymore. They don't fit the philosophy of Mikey Varis. They have found a new face of the franchise in Andres Dreyer. It's time to cut bait and move on. Now, here's the bombshell of this. He has gotten some criticism, Chucky Lozano, but it's not from a former teammate. And it's not from a current teammate or a former coach or from a current coach or a former coach. It's coming from his own brother, Brian Lozano. Brian Lozano is the youngest of 4 Lozano brothers. And he publicly stated that Chucky's history of being undisciplined could limit his transfer options. No one or very few would risk signing him, and his personality and behavior have damaged his reputation. That's not a rival talking. That's family. You could take a deeper dive really into some of the direct quotes from the Chucky Lozano situation. Like, here's some things that were said, direct quotes from his brother. Quote, he had his problems at Napoli. He had, and his coaching and the coaching staff there at PSV. He also had issues at one point. This is his brother talking in Spanish, translated English. He's rude and arrogant, and that doesn't lead anywhere. That has influenced the fact that many people really don't want him. This is his brother, Brian Lozano, telling ESPN. Brian recently returned after playing a year with Virtus FC in the Brazilian league. Quote, even though he earns a lot in San Diego, I feel that's just an excuse because It's not convenient to have someone like that, knowing how important it is to have a healthy locker room. So no one or very few would risk signing him, because at the end of the day, they run the risk of something similar happening to what has happened before. His brother goes on to say, Brian Lozano talking about his brother Chucky. He says he became unreachable even for family. Now he wants everyone, because he made a name for himself, to be at his feet. Quote, I found out on social media that I think he disrespected the San Diego coach during the game versus the Dynamo, but that's already a very repetitive attitude of his. On the national team, there's also a lot of talk about him being undisciplined. Quote, again, from Brian Lozano, talking about his brother Chucky. I think he must have moments of clarity thinking about his personal life, and maybe the anger he carries affects him. Who knows? And that's why he might react that way toward other people. The way he is handling his life influences him a lot. I hope he can see things in a different way, that he reflects and reverses what he has done, especially on a personal level, and that he can straighten out his career. Brian says he has mixed feelings when he thinks about how things are going for his brother. Quote, at the end of the day, he is my blood. You feel it. And I say, man, if that were happening to me, I would feel bad or disappointed. He says this in a good moment for Chucky to he says this is a good moment for Chucky to understand or rethink his behavior, especially with the World Cup approaching, as he risked being left out. These are interesting comments from Chucky Lozano's brother. I mean, he talks about the personal isolation. I mean, Brian claims that Chucky is estranged from his parents and siblings. He has blocked them from his family. They don't have his phone number. I mean, that signals obviously deeper personal fracture beyond the professional frustration. And his brother Brian suggests fame has changed him. Anger may influence his reactions, and the boom in his career has altered his personality. I mean, these are some damning comments from Brian Lozano about his brother Chucky. I mean, I can see why at this point. I mean, again, it was surprising at the beginning, not that surprising, but I can see now why San Diego FC is like, we want nothing to do with this guy. I mean, this is not a former player. This is not a rival. This is not a former coach. This is not anybody that has had some irrational spat with Chucky Lozano. This is his brother saying this. I mean, Brian frames this as a moment of clarity for Chucky. Reflect, repair, or risk the isolation and career decline. But you talk about like where this is at right now with Chucky Lozano, and you start thinking about like how can San Diego FC have an opportunity to get a trade to get him off the roster. I mean, Frank, this gets even more difficult for San Diego FC when you really peel behind the curtain and see what his own brother is saying about him in the media.
Yeah, it's not great. And for Chucky, it sounds like a player, and I said it on the update, it sounds like a player that let the fame and fortune get to his head a little bit too much. And that's very unfortunate, because he is a good player. He's a very talented player. I mean, to be able to make it with Napoli and Serie A, which is one of the top clubs in one of the top leagues in the world, that's no small fry. I mean, he is a good player. But unfortunately, you've gotten to the point now with him, and his family's coming out and saying it now, that the baggage just isn't worth it anymore. It's not worth it for not only a big club, a major club, to take a chance on him, especially in a World Cup year. It's gotten to the point where now even like minor clubs throughout the world aren't even willing to take a chance on him. The baggage has gotten that heavy surrounding Chucky Lozano.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a great spot to be in. I mean, you look at, the crossroads now. I mean, Chucky Lozano's 30 years old. I mean, at this point, like, he's going to have to go through a full redemption story if you really think about it, because I don't know how many more MLS teams are going to be interested in potentially making this an opportunity. I mean, the transfer value is declining with Chucky Lozano, and reputation question continues to grow. It's a World Cup year, as you mentioned, Frank. I mean, that's approaching. I mean, based on the conversations that Brian Lozano has had with ESPN, it doesn't sound like Team Mexico is super stoked to have him around in this year's World Cup. So if you're not going to play for your own country and you can't even play for your own club team, I mean, at this point, you are running out of options to continue to play soccer at a professional level.
Yeah, and I've heard that he's rubbed some major people at the Mexican team the wrong way over the years. So I mean, he's unfortunately alienated himself in this case. I mean, it's not like he's misunderstood. It's not like he's not that good a player, and he's completely alienated himself and let the limelight get to his head, which is just it's sad to see.
I mean, one's saying some other things in the chat about, some rumors about what he is as a teammate and what he has done so far at Knicks AFC. And there's a lot of things out there about Chucky Lozano that comes with the baggage. And I don't want to pile on this guy, but it's progressing to get worse.
It's not piling on if it's all stuff that's happened. I mean, it's the legacy he's put out there. That's the history that he has made for himself. At that point, it's not really piling on. I mean, piling on is finding new things to rip on him for. But if this is all stuff that's out there and documented, that's just his deal. It's just the way he is.
Right. That's just kind of where he's at right now. We do got to get to today's biggest fan.
Yeah.
Forgot about today's biggest fan. Today's biggest fan.
Hold on. Today's biggest fan. I'll say the name. You can do the reading.
Today's biggest fan is
Danny Naylor in Alpine.
Danny Naylor in Alpine. You have 10 minutes to give us a call. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefantasy.com/biggest fan. Today's biggest fan is
Danny Naylor in Alpine.
Danny Naylor in Alpine. 10 minutes, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, interesting story that just came. It started 6 years ago. Just got an update. We'll tell you about it when we come back. We're officially past the 2026 trade deadline and coming out of the All-Star weekend, and the NBA gave us some clarity and confusion at the same time. Let's start with the biggest name in the league right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Milwaukee question. Giannis says he's committed to the Bucks. His words, as of today, I'm committed. This is my team, and I love it. You will never hear me say I want to trade, but here's the reality. The Bucks are 21-30. They're 12th in the East. Giannis hasn't played since January 23rd with a calf strain. And league sources say Milwaukee did listen to offers before the deadline. Teams like the Golden State Warriors, Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves were monitoring the situation. Nothing happened, but the door isn't closed. It's just pushed to the summer. Giannis compared winning a championship to eating a great steak. You want that steak again. He won in 2021. He wants another bite. Giannis isn't lying. He loves Milwaukee. But this isn't about loyalty. It's about leverage. As of today, it's powerful language that he decided to use. If this team doesn't climb into serious contention after the break, this conversation explodes in July. And if he ever truly becomes available, that's a franchise-altering moment for half the league that might be interested in trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, and this is why I kind of also get scared, because the Knicks have such a great thing going on and can really use a guy like Giannis. And the reports were that over this last offseason that he was saying, do whatever it takes to get me to New York. And I really don't want to see the current New York Knicks team getting blown up. But I can't imagine, especially in the NBA where players move all the time, big names move all the time. I can't see Giannis starting the 2026-27 season with the Milwaukee Bucks at this rate, unless they really take a swing during the free agency period and get some guys in.
I don't believe the Jan, to be in Milwaukee now. I'm
No,
not buying it.
especially
He's going to get moved during the summer unless the Bucks, pull a miracle out of their ass.
with professional athletes, that kind of statement rings so hollow. But especially in the NBA, where guys like LeBron, who you would see in the NFL stay with one team his entire career, or with baseball stay with one team for a vast majority of his career, especially if it's in a big market. I can't take that seriously, especially in the NBA.
Speaking of things you can't take seriously, the All-Star Weekend, that happened this weekend. Was it competitive again? I mean, for the first time in years, the All-Star game felt kind of real. U.S. versus the world format seemed to work. Anthony Edwards took home MVP and played like he meant it. Victor Wembanyama was visibly upset after blown defensive assignments in an All-Star game. That hasn't happened in a decade. Even Damian Lillard, fresh off an Achilles rehab, won his third three-point contest and inspired Steph Curry to announce he's entering next year's competition. The league doesn't need a lot of gimmicks. It needs stars who care. And this weekend proved when young stars take ownership of the moment, fans respond. So maybe they could get enough of the young guys to want to be in these games. But the dunk contest, I know Keyshawn Johnson won, San Diego State Aztec, right? But the dunk contest wasn't on par. I didn't even think they had the 3-point contest. They ruined the skills challenge last year. I just think it's going to be a lot of years of young guys trying for people to be on board at the All-Star Weekend again.
I think you're getting into a generation now, especially with the Edwardses and the Wembayamas, that the biggest complaint of the last couple of years is throughout the All-Star Weekend, the biggest stars haven't participated. So whether or not these guys are being catalysts, and if it is true, if Steph Curry is going to do the 3-point contest next year, if you see the guys like Edwards and Wembayama starting to participate in the All-Star Week festivities, then maybe that might get some of the older guys to get up there and do it as well. So there's a lot of things that can happen. The All-Star Weekend for me, for the NBA, has just been so watered down and so bastardized over the years that it draws no interest from me at all.
Let's look at the second half of the NBA season now. After post-All-Star break of the power shift, who's actually in control? At the break, here's what stands out. Oklahoma City Thunder, 41-13, still number one, but Shai is hurt, and the West feels more fragile than dominant. The Detroit Pistons, 39-13. They're young, they're physical, they're fearless. They've bullied contenders, including the Knicks. Boston Celtics are 34-19. If Tatum returns close to 100%, they're right back in the East driver's seat. Denver Nuggets at 34-20, still dangerous, still Jokic. But depth and injuries are concerns. And the Cavs, James Harden era has started hot, 4 straight wins, 9 of 10 overall. That move might quietly be one of the most important at the deadline, even though you and I both thought, I don't know if you want to give up as much as you have. All right, I got a question for you.
Yes.
I've asked you this question before, but then I have forgotten what you have answered. But here's my question for you. It's going to start this segment off.
Mm-hmm.
Bone-in or boneless?
Boneless.
Boneless. You know they're not wings, right?
Yes, I know.
Now, let me ask a follow-up question to that. Because I like boneless wings too.
Mm-hmm.
But now, since you know, I'm glad you know that they're not actual wings. Does that upset you?
That they're not wings?
That they're not actually meat from a wing?
No.
Does it upset you that they call them boneless wings when they are basically chicken breast nuggets?
No.
It doesn't upset you enough to say that it is false advertising?
Oh, for God's sake.
Do you not want compensation for you being lied to about how boneless wings are not actual wings, Frank? You tell me you don't do that?
I want the compensation, but I'm not gonna complain about it.
Get this deal. Adam sent this to us last night. That would be the boneless wings lawsuit versus Buffalo Wild Wings. Are boneless wings actual wings? A class action lawsuit filed by Amin Halim argued that they are not, claiming the product is not made from wing meat, more like a chicken nugget, falsely advertised, and deceptive under Illinois Consumer Fraud Act. The case was heard in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois. No. Put your headphones back on. You got to listen to this. Look at Frank. You got to listen to this. Halim purchased boneless wings in January of 2023 and said, quote, he believed they were real wings with the bones removed. Brother, what? That's a hell of a wing, my guy. He expected meat from actual chicken wings, drums or flats. He would have paid less or not purchased them if he knew they were breast meat. I would have ordered them. I thought I was getting drums or flats that just removed the actual bones. I am upset. He also argued Buffalo Wild Wings intentionally uses the term because wing meat is more expensive than breast meat. Is it? I think that's kind of a fallacy, but who knows? He also argued the company profits from the confusion, and consumers nationwide are being misled. They're being misled. Are you raising your voice at me? He sought to bring a nationwide class action lawsuit against Buffalo Wild Wings. The court finally made a decision, Frank. First of all, before I get you the court's decision, what are your thoughts on that?
Please tell me they told this guy to shove it.
No. I want your thoughts on the entire situation about suing Buffalo Wild Wings for claiming that boneless wings are misleading and they are, what else did he say they were? Falsely advertised and deceptive under the Illinois Consumer Fraud Act.
You're a child. You are a literal baby brain.
Buffalo Wild Wings intentionally uses the term because wing meat is more expensive than breast meat. You're fooling the Americans.
How did you decipher the fact that it was not, in fact, wing meat? Did you buy a wing and then buy a boneless wing?
I thought.
Put them under a microscope and test to see whether or not it was a boneless, whether or not the meat was from the same part of the chicken?
I thought that they just took the bones. I want wing meat, not breast meat that's actually better for me. I want the wing meat. Oh my God.
You are a genuine baby brain.
This is hilarious.
And the fact that any lawyer would have taken this up is an embarrassment.
The arguments of
please tell me they told him to shove it.
The lawsuit itself about believing that the real wings the boneless wings were real with bones removed is funny. He expected meat from actual chicken wings, also hilarious. He would have paid less or not purchased them if he knew that it was breast meat, also hilarious. But the part that's more funny, it's funnier to me. Here's the part that's funnier to me. That he argues that Buffalo Wild Wings intentionally does this to make profits from the confusion of Americans. Like, the only reason why people are buying boneless wings is because they're being deceptive. They're being led astray on wing meat because Americans would rather have the wing meat than the bone than the breast meat.
Brother, you are the reason why do not ingest is on a bottle of shampoo. You are the reason why there are warnings on blow dryers. Like, you're the reason. You are the reason. I have never once been confused about whether or not I was eating a chicken wing or a chicken nugget.
Nor did I care. Okay.
Never once.
This happened in 2023. How about this? The fact that they filed the lawsuit in court in 2023. They just got a ruling yesterday. What a waste of taxpayer dollars. What a waste of money. Waste of money. All right, court's decision. You ready for this? Judge John J. Tharp Jr. That is such a judge name.
John J. Tharp
Jingleheimer Schmidt?
Please.
His name was my name too? Is that who this was?
Please do the right thing.
Judge John J. Tharp Jr.
Do the right thing.
Talk
please.
about generated names. He dismissed the complaint.
Thank you. Oh, you had me worried. Oh, I was stressing out over here.
Frank believes in society yet again.
Oh, my God.
For a brief moment till he sits in traffic on the way home.
Oh, thank God.
All right. The ruling included several notable findings. Number one, standing. The court agreed Halim had standing. He claimed economic harm.
Oh, my God.
So it wasn't thrown out on a technicality. Well, you know what? Maybe some economic harm out there with people thinking it's not breast meat.
I'll give you the $2 back. Just...
Number two, no deception as a matter of law. The judge ruled a reasonable consumer would not believe boneless wings are deboned chicken wings reassembled into a, quote, Franken wing. Thank you. Thank you. I am glad that he views that the average American is not believing that boneless wings are deboned chicken wings. Key reasoning. Words have multiple meanings. Quote, wing can be described style, not anatomy. Buffalo wing doesn't mean buffalo meat. You know what? That's pretty fair, to be honest with you. I mean, wouldn't a buffalo wing strike you as a wing coming from a buffalo? I mean, hey, chicken fingers aren't literal fingers, Frank. He has to put, this is in a court ruling. Cauliflower wings don't contain wing meat. These are all reasons saying it's not. See, look, hey, this is the defense that the judge had for his argument. Judge Schmitty Werdeman Jensen. He was number one. The court leaned on common sense. Oh my God, it's about time. Boneless wings are widely known product for decades. Consumers understand what they're ordering. Number three, price context matters. The menu shows traditional wings cost more, boneless wings cost less. The court reasoned if boneless wings required extra labor, deboning actual wings, they would likely cost more, not less. The price difference signals they're not literally deboned wings.
So then why would you, if you acknowledge that the process of taking the bone out of an wing and then molding it back together would cost more, then why would you say he suffered economical harm by paying less for what you acknowledge would have cost him more?
You're asking too many questions. The lawsuit, quote, had no meat on its bones. They put that in the argument in the release.
I hate you so much for that.
Court documents, it says, quote, the lawsuit had no meat on its bones. The judge used wordplay to dismiss the claim. His complaint has, this is the direct quote from the document. His complaint has no meat on its bones. The court allowed Halim the opportunity to amend his lawsuit, but noted amendment would likely be futile.
I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue Buffalo Wild Wings now.
Why?
Because I thought the Buffalo Wild Wings, the buffalo sauce, was from Buffalo. I thought it was from the city of Buffalo. So I am going to sue now. B-dubs, get ready. Because you're getting more paperwork.
Oh my God. What a story. Are you okay?
No, I'm not. Well, I'm slightly better than I would have been had the judge awarded this idiot any form of money at all. The fact that he awarded him his time is criminal enough.
One's got a point. I thought buffalo wings were actual buffalo, not chicken. I can't believe that this was a story. It's great. Are you raising your voice at me?
I mean, I'll give Buffalo Wild Wings one thing. Their artichoke dip is good. And what they should have said at the end of that was, I artichoke you and dip your head into a vat.
That seems a little aggressive for a judge to say that.
Well, you wasted my time for 3 years. You wasted my time.
The lawsuit was filed in 2023. The result came yesterday by Judge John J. Jingleheimer Smith. John J. Tharp Jr.
No. Call him the right name, because he did actually come to the right conclusion. It took him 3 years, but he came to the right conclusion. What is his genuine birth name?
John J. Tharp Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Judge Tharp Jr.
It's amazing. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We had a perfect are you raising your voice at me moment on Twitter today.
Did we?
I got to give a shout out to my guy, Vinny Ibarra, who does like to tweet at us every once in a while when he listens to the show. I don't think I've ever seen Vinny not tweet in all caps.
Good start.
He's back. His opinion is he's backing Chucky Lozano in this situation, which is his fair. Yeah.
Callus in the chat. Are we going after the McRib next?
You know what? Don't let this guy. What's his name? Halim?
Yeah, don't let our guy
Amin Halim get cooking. Don't let this guy get moving. Don't let him cook. Don't let him cook.
Yeah, no, let him cook. No, let's let him cook a little bit less. All right, let's take the tongs away. Let's let him cook a little bit less.
New York Mike, 5:30, big dog. Anyway, so Vinny, like he talks, he's on Chucky's side on this deal, and he's just yelling. It's all caps. Do you ever read anything that in all caps and just be like, "Why are you yelling? Are you raising your voice at me?"
Yeah.
Are you raising your voice at me?
No tacos today, by the way. Unless they're veggie tacos for us Catholics.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
Ash Wednesday.
It's only for Go Aztecs at this point.
I know. We added a new drop today. That's great. It's great news.
Yes, we did.
I love it. All right. Well, we had the brother. Vinny brings up a couple things of what could be happening between Chucky and his brother. Speaking of things happening between, yourself and a brother or sister-in-law, we get to what's going on with the Players Association. Tony Clark, not in charge anymore of the player. Well, in charge. He's not the lead voice anymore. We'll tell you what happened when we come back to finish up the show. San Diego's number sports station, 97 through the Fan. San Diego Gulls just wrapped up a playoff-style home-and-home with Bakersfield. And what we learned in this, they can win tight games, but they're still learning how to close them against elite firepower. Split with the Bakersfield Condors, 4-game winning streak snapped, and now the Gulls sit right in the thick of things in the Pacific Division playoff race.
Yeah, absolutely. Game one, a statement win against the Condors, a 3-1 win back on February 13th at Dignity Health Arena. San Diego extending its winning streak to 4 games with a mature, structured road win. A very, very good sign from a young team like this.
Yeah, Tomas Sukanchik was outstanding, 31 saves, season high, back-to-back wins for Sukanchik since returning from injury. Head coach Matt McIlvain called it a big-time game for him. Offensively, Matthew Phillips scored his 10th of the season on the power play. He now co-leads the team with 32 points. Tim Washi scored his 14th and continues to lead the team in points per game among qualified skaters. Nathan Gaucher added an empty netter, now 5 points in the last 4 games. And Sasha Pastajov recorded his 100th career AHL point. But the key, the third period, McIlvain said it best, they're learning how to protect leads, not sitting back, not getting reckless. That blend of maturity and aggression, that's playoff hockey. Now, on game 2, though, a little bit different. They were competitive, but it was costly. Ended up losing 5-4 at Pechanga Arena, and the streak ends at 4.
Yeah, absolutely. The interesting part here is that McIlvain said that they might have actually played better stylistically than they did in the night before the game they won, but against a high-octane Bakersfield team, mistakes get punished, and they got punished quite often as they fell behind 3 separate times, were able to come back 3 separate times, but unfortunately still end up coming with the loss.
Justin Bailey scored his 16th goal. He leads the team in goals now. Judd Caulfield had 2 goals, his 3rd multi-game of the year. Stian Solberg scored his 6th leading goals defenseman, and Sasha Pastojov now leads the team outright with 33 points. Nathan Gaucher had 2 assists and 7 points in 5 games. But Caulfield said post-game they gave Bakersfield too many looks, and against a team like that, you can't trade chances.
No, you absolutely cannot, especially with how tight the division is, the Pacific Division. They're 22, 15, 6, and 3, standing at 53 points, which has them back in 6th in the Pacific Division, but they are only 4 points behind Coachella Valley, so they are within striking distance of one of those top 3 spots, which in the update last week we were mentioning was very, very crucial, especially this series against Bakersfield, to be able to get in and really stay in that race.
They're firmly in a playoff position as of right now, but the division is brutal. Colorado, Ontario, Bakersfield, these are not forgiving teams. It's a little bit different than the NHL Pacific Division that seems wide open. Points are at a premium, and as Caulfield said, the goals aren't satisfied with 6th place. But what we're seeing from this team, 3 clear trends. Depth scoring is real. Bailey, Washi, Pastajov, Phillips, Caulfield, Gaucher, production across multiple lines. Goaltending, stability. Callie Klang has been excellent overall this season. And now Tomasz Sukanchik looks like he's finding his game again, as well as competitive maturity from the team. Down 3 times Saturday, kept responding.
Yeah, absolutely. And they'll still occasionally give up the back-breaking chance. And the Pacific Division, that's the division between hosting that's the difference right now between hosting a playoff series or just fighting to get in. And the next couple games are going to be very, very big, as most of the rest of the season is going to be for the San Diego Gulls as it sits right now.
Yeah, February 18th, they got San Jose, they got the Barracuda, and then over the weekend they got 2 games in Rockford to take on the Ice Hogs on the 21st of February and the 22nd. San Jose is directly ahead of them in the standings. That game on Wednesday against San Jose, that's a 4-point swing game. And now so far the Gulls have done a very good job with that, but they need to do it again against San Jose. The Pacific Division is gnarly. Are the Gulls a dangerous playoff team or still a year away from being a true division contender? They've proven they can win tight, structured games. They score in bunches. They battle back when trailing. But against Bakersfield, we've gotten confirmation that San Diego has parted ways with Steve Lavin as the head basketball coach at the University of San Diego. Steve Lavin in his 4th season at the University of San Diego, and according to reports by Mark Ziegler in the San Diego Union Tribune, Lavin was in his 4th season of what believed to be a 6-year contract that pays him roughly $1 million a year. Kimya Massey is known to have considered firing Lavin after last season. According to the report, he is the athletic director at the University of San Diego, but it proved too expensive with the massive contract that previous athletic director Bill McGillis gave him. Coach is best known for 7 seasons at UCLA, had one winning record in his 4 years at USD when they went 18-15 in 2023-2024, finished 9th, 5th, and 11th in the West Coast Conference, and the Toreros 11-17 are 10th this season at 5-10 following Sunday's 92-79 home loss against USF. Lavin did reach the NCAA tournament in 8 of 11 seasons. The head coach at UCLA and St. John's. He has no postseason appearances with USD, a job he took after 7 years as a television analyst. We'll see if Steve Lavin goes back into broadcasting. I would imagine he does. Okay. After we upset everybody with the, what's it called? The Buffalo Wild Wings lawsuit. And when I mean everybody, I mean Frank. You were ready to really just go off, weren't you?
If that judge gave him anything other than a swift kick in the rear end, I was going to let him have it. I was going to let him have it.
Too many of those, dude. I can't believe the guy tried to sue for that. But anyway.
I'm sorry, you're too stupid to exist in common, polite society. That should not be everyone else's problem.
Hilarious. All right. We haven't gotten to this yet. People were asking about it on Tuesday. Right? That was our first show of the week, Tuesday. We had Monday off? Okay. That was yesterday, was it not?
Might have been.
I think it was because today's Wednesday. Tony Clark resigning. What does this mean? Well, here's what happened. So Tony Clark resigns as the head of the Major League Baseball Players Association. The resignation follows an internal investigation and a federal probe by the Eastern District of New York into union finances. And an inquiry uncovered an inappropriate relationship with a union employee who also just so happened to be his sister-in-law. Player Executive Subcommittee reviewed the findings. Clark asked to step down Monday. He was asked to step down on Monday, and his official resignation was Tuesday.
We need an oof drop.
I just, yeah, we do need an oof drop. Major oof on this. Timing is critical. CBA expires at the end of the season. Owners widely expected to lock out players. League already bracing for prolonged labor dispute. Union just lost its face right before the biggest negotiation in years. Now, the labor war that is looming, and now you don't have a leadership. You don't have a leader in terms of the overall sense of the Players Association. MLB owners are pushing harder for salary cap and greater cost controls. The union has long resisted cap structure. Tony Clark and Deputy Bruce Meyer led the 2021-2022 lockout negotiations, the previous ones, and that one lasted 99 days. Many expect the next one could be longer, and a potential interim leader in Bruce Meyer, who is a respected negotiator, did lead the 2021 bargaining, but union is hesitant to rush appointment. Players are holding additional calls to decide the next steps. Baltimore pitcher Chris Bassett emphasized not rushing a leadership decision when he was asked about it. And the message from player reps right now is the ship is strong. The union is unified. Might be, trying to stay calm in the public eye, but privately, I can't imagine it being anything but instability right now, Frank, for the Players Association. I don't see this being something that is good news for the Players Association right before they get into a labor negotiation with the owners.
I just heard they banned a song out of the Players Union building. I don't know if you if you heard that.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
What-
Stop it.
what
Stop
in
it.
the
Stop
sweet-
it. Stop it.
What
Stop
in
it.
the sweet home Alabama is going on at
Stop
the
it.
MLBPA right now?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Foul. 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 Foul.
Right.
Foul.
Took my chance.
Foul.
He draws the
Foul. Distancing myself from that. Distancing
Like,
myself.
what are we like? What? You're a grown adult man. What makes you think that that's okay to do?
To have a relationship with his sister-in-law? I
Yes.
mean, who knows what
you
that
are
situation
a grown
was.
adult human being.
I don't know what I don't know what the situation is. That his brother's wife, or is that his
I
wife's
don't know.
sister? Did anybody see that
I
as
don't-
part of the
I
deal? I
think
mean, that's a
that's-
massive.
I think that's kind of still up in the air. I think.
Did
that's-
anybody report on
there's
that yet?
debating on that.
I don't want to really get into too much of the weeds with the that particular part of this deal, but I will say it leads to a lot of problems with the Players Association right now.
Yeah, I can't. This is right now. This right here, what you're trying to do is you're trying to gain the upper hand as far as the court of public opinion is concerned. And right now, Major League Baseball and what the owners have done over the course of this offseason has been far superior than anything that the Players Association has done. And the more and more you hear and see come out of the Players Association is it just makes them look worse. And this doesn't look any better. So right now you're at a point where of course, nobody wants to miss Major League Baseball time. But when you see what happens here, you're not going to be rooting for the Players Association in this case anymore, because the guy who's been leading it is doing what he did.
Yeah, what he was like. I guess Jeff Passan allegedly is reporting that it was his brother's wife, and then he hired. So they hired the brother's wife, and then this happened. I mean, that is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
By the way, absolutely crazy. I mean, that crazy. But on top of that, yeah, it's just it's hard, you know, from the public eye to see everything that's. I mean, it's kind of a PR nightmare for the Players Association right now. I mean, I know they are saying and keeping everything like, oh, well, positive and all that stuff. I just don't really see it. So the federal probe and players, you know, and Players Way questions. Clark's departure tied to an expanded scrutiny over union finances, handling of Players Way. Remember that scandal that kind of got brushed under the rug?
Yep.
MLB Players Association for-profit youth baseball arm. Players Way reportedly spent close to $10 million and hosted only, I think, like 6 events. It was very limited. I don't know the exact number, but it was limited events. And spending exceeded publicly reported figures. Clark previously defended the project, but federal investigation triggered deeper internal review. Obviously, not just about optics, but this is existential in kind of the chaos that has been the Players Association. So not only is Tony Clark dealing, not only is he cheating on his wife with his brother's wife, they also had all this money funded into a program that helped kids that ended up not really helping a lot of kids, instead just costing a bunch of money. Who knows where that money went to? And Clark's legacy, I mean, stronger union or now a cracked foundation. He took over in 2013 after Michael Weiner's death, former 15-year MLB player, first former player to lead a union. He oversaw the pandemic negotiations in 2022. Lockout resolution saw Tony Clark escalating owner-player tension, expanded player salaries and arbitration, a.k.a. Tarek Skubal, maintain hard anti-salary cap stance. Some players supportive. Some players and agents reportedly pushed for change even before the probe, by the way. So it's not like these guys were all in line with Tony Clark, even before this happened, Frank.
No, they have been going against him slowly but surely, and this is just another step in that direction. I mean, this has been just a nightmare for the Players Association. If they think that they are going to get the better end of this new CBA, they are insane. They are absolutely insane if they think that is the case. There's no shot, because when it comes down to, we're going to be missing games next year because the players won't agree, because the two sides won't agree. Fans are going to be reminded of all this stuff. Fans are going to remember the players. What was the nonprofit? They're going to be reminded of that. They're going to be reminded of this. They're going to see all these stories about, players going after the owners. They are going to be losing so bad in the court of public opinion that the players are going to be the one that get the blame on this one this time around.
There's a couple other things with this too. Like, and we had Clinton Yates on before, and he wrote a piece on this with with this potential deal. But like, I go back to Cody. Like, Cody Decker was tweeting about this yesterday. He is now, like, Cody Decker now he's on with Michelle Beadle now, which I didn't know that was a thing. He is a ex-professional baseball player. I'm pretty sure he played in the Padres organization, if I'm not mistaken. He does TV and radio and stuff now, but he's been tweeting about this a lot, and with the CBA. And I got to go find the one where it said, here's the one about Tony Clark. This is what Cody Decker said. Okay, take this for what it's worth. He's talking about his conversation he once had with Tony Clark. Cody Decker he tweets this out. Tony once told me when I asked one-on-one after a CBA meeting in spring training, why aren't we helping the players that need protection the most? Minor leaguers, taxi squad, players with options. And Tony's answer was, well, Deck, you were never supposed to make it. That's everything you need to know about the Players Association and what's going on right now.
And also, that's coming from Tony Clark, who, let's be honest here, was an average player at best. For most years.
But that's like Tony Clark's job is to appease like the players of the Players Association.
All players.
It should be all players, but his incentive is obviously the top players. And that's why when you hear a lot of stuff with the Players Association, you have to realize this is coming from the top 1% of the players in the Players Association, not all of the players. I mean, they asked, they're asking these players right now in spring training, like, oh, what do you think about the Dodgers spending? And then a lot of the guys that are making tons of money are going like, oh, I love it. We love what the Dodgers are doing. This is great. Everybody should be doing this. You want to know where you want to know where the Players Association stands? That quote right there from Cody Decker. Again, take it for what it's worth. But from Cody Decker, who played in Major League Baseball, mostly in the minor leagues. I think he has the record for most minor league home runs ever hit or something because he had been down there for so long. He said, Tony Clark once told me when I asked one-on-one after a CBA meeting in spring training, why aren't we helping the players that need protection the most, albeit the guys that aren't getting paid the $30+ million a year. And Tony Clark's answer is everything you need to know about where the Players Association, at least with Tony Clark in charge, where it stood. Well, Deck, you were never supposed to make it. I mean, this is why minor league players have been treated poorly all the time. That's why I don't buy the narrative from the top 1% of players saying like, oh, we're doing this for all the other players. We're doing this to help out all of the guys that don't have a voice and all this other stuff. It's an interesting conversation.
I mean, that's got to be a quote that has to get blasted everywhere.
Bob Nightingale reported this 4 hours ago that Bruce Meyer will remain the union's lead negotiator even if he also becomes the union's interim executive director. Cody Decker quote tweeted that and said, I mean, there was a mutiny to remove him from his position in 2024. Hope the Players Association can stay together because I'm not feeling great about the next CBA. That is a guy that used to be part of this deal.
Yeah, there's no shot. There's no shot the players come out of this as winners.
We'll see how the negotiations go, but I look at this and I think for one of the first time, it's a situation in which the players are not going to have the full support of the public, because the public is like, you know what? I don't really care I don't care who gets paid, whatever. I just want to make sure we have baseball games, and I want the league to be competitive. I think most of the public has said that, Frank. I don't want to speak for him. I mean, that's what I've said. That's what I believe as a baseball fan. And I think whatever gets you to that position, I'm in favor for. And I think a lot of people in baseball kind of want that now, like fans of baseball. So I think the players might be underestimating the public opinion thing a little bit because they've always had the benefit
They've
of the
always
public
had
opinion.
it. Yeah, exactly. Why are you going to root for the rich people?
We're going to see how this transpires. We'll probably talk more about it again tomorrow, but just the interesting stuff with the Tony Clark situation. It's not a good look for the Players Association as a whole. Not the players, but the Players Association. Gwen and Chris coming up next. We'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Sam Levitt will join the show. 97 through the fan.